See you guys back at 2 o'clock. Hopefully you enjoy your lunch. I know that we will. Hopefully we'll get out for a walk. It's a little bit cold, but it's about to heat up with the midday.
Is it that cold?
It's cold in here.
Yeah, it's 18. Oh, and here.
18 degrees is cold.
All right.
It's underneath. If it's underneath room temperature, it's cold to me.
Ciao for now.
Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That right there is your boy Joey Options. And as I introduce him, I'm taking money out over here on these positions. Let's go IPDN. Here we go. I just got to focus here. It's taking out all my orders. Okay, so we didn't get the dip trade, but there we go through the local area high. We get the print at 25. Let's go ahead and set up now at 33s. I'm talking about IPDN. This is the #1 gapper in the market right now, up over 218%. Looking to go more. I'm quite disappointed the fact that I did not get the ads at 570 and 555, but here we go. We're working into that 20 to 30 penny area, Joey. So yeah, I'd love to shout out everyone, but you know, typically I'm not in a position that moves this quick. But here we go. We got, who else, man? Michael Baldwin. We got Hina Patel, Will Fishing, Gray Worm. Shout out to Picky Eater and 420 Bud Monster. We got Ed George and Flow Grade. We got Yannick. We got T What's Up, DAP 711. We got the OG Darwin. Who else, man? Let's go. Let's go. Why not? Why not? Big Joe, Levi Corbe, Parabolic FOMO, JD Vance. JD Vance. Yeah, JD Van something or another, man. I'm sorry. I just got to focus on this trade.
Focus.
But good morning to everybody. Good morning, Joseph.
Losing focus right now. Focus. Shout out to Bryson Tiller, man. I'm an R&B guy because, you know, it just is what we rock and roll. But guys, happy Friday.
Hey.
We're back. We're ready. We're prepared for the long weekend. A big R&R one for your boys. So we're going to chill out, post up there. But what did we trade today? And not for that. That is going to be some Tesla and some IBIT. So we were short this off a 5-minute hammer candle off of those off the opening drive high. Boom. We take that short. And then I was frustrated. I didn't take it again, but it is what it is. There's another opportunity right here. And then you get that big time leg down, so we can't complain. But also, by the way.
What?
Building a little bit of a position in IBIT. I don't think this one's going to work out too well, to be honest with you guys. Trying to catch falling knives, especially in the crypto space. I think that probably within the next couple of weeks, we'll see Bitcoin to 100,000 south of it. Truly, because we're sitting around 108,000 right now. We tapped into 124, couldn't hit that 125 level, and then sure enough, we're just continuously selling here. So let's see if we can get a bounce back to the volume-weighted average price. That's the game plan. But again, catching falling knives, going to the club. No, I haven't been to the club in a long time, my friend. Yeah, I haven't been to the club in a long time. Go to bars.
What's a long time mean, Joey?
I couldn't even tell you the last time I was in the club.
Okay, so that means long time.
Yeah, I legit
That's what that
couldn't even
means,
tell you. Like, bars and stuff are different, but last time I went and popped bottles and all that stuff, it's been a while. It's been a while since we did that. Yeah, but other than that, guys, this is what we got going on. Market selling. Katina Man called it today. I heard him earlier in the morning. He's like, yeah, I think it's going to be a faded Friday. And then sure enough, you got to fade everything. But now we're trying to catch falling knives on IBIT. So if it cracks that low, I'm going to be taking a hefty loss on this bad boy here. Nice volume signature. We like that, but it doesn't want to bounce. So yeah, it is what it is on that one, Sharif.
All right, Joey, we added into the dip there, and we're taking more out. 85s now, just took out some in the high 90s. I still have a couple of dip trades that have gone unfilled. But what we currently have on IPDN on the 5-minute chart is a disadvantageous candle. It is a candle of indecision with a very small body and bigger upper and lower wicks. So we only have one beak wetter unless we get the ad. Now, the ad over here comes into 570. I will take that ad. I don't mind. I only have one profit taker left, so I need to take out more. Simple ad, or to get more in, excuse me. And you know, you always want to get more in at the most advantageous price. So right now, I'm seeing the 10 EMA on the 5 at 560 something. It's going to take out my order. It took out my order. We're done this trade, believe it or not, and it's not even the best one, even though we're profitable on it, because we didn't have the biggest position that we should have had. So we'll look to do a little bit better there. Still profitable on it, but I'm looking to get more in here at current bar low. Current bar low takes us to about 570 something or another. So let's set up another dip trade over here. I'm going to set it up at 77s. Now this may or may not get filled. Oh, wow. This is breaking out here, Joey. It looks like it's going to take out the area high. into about 650 or so. So let's see, we're going to get in a small position over here and work our way in. We didn't get punched in for whatever reason. We'll do it now. Let's see if we can get in. There we go. We got 12s on now, so let's go ahead and post in the 20s. Now, I will leave this order, this dip trade here active. We're defending the 10 EMA on the 5, and that's what I want to base my trade on. This has been obviously defending the 10 EMA, did it at 9:45, it did it at 10:30, and it looks like it might be doing it right now. So let's base our trades off that until it doesn't work. So dipping back into the high 5s, which I'm fine with because I'm looking to pick some up in the 70s. Maybe I should move it up a little bit over here so that it has more of a chance of filling. Exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it at 577, and then we're going to cancel. Well, we'll actually leave that one. Let's see what we can get on that. So that's what I'm looking at right now. 693 high, by the way. It's done 129 million shares, and it is professional diversity, $14.75 million market cap. They're an operator of professional communities with a focus on diversity, employment, education, and training. Sure. Whatever. Let's see. We can continue to move up over here. There we go into the highs. Joseph frickin' Wilson. It takes out all my orders again. Let's set up some more now at 34s. We're going to see if we can get that prior or that prior bar high. Did reject into that 34 area, so let's keep an eye on that. Looking for that continuation above 6. But as you can see, it's really having trouble holding and staying above 6. I mean, you've got a 693 high, but you don't exactly have that very, very decisive clearing off that $6 level. It keeps retracing back into it. So shout out to you guys. Hope you guys are having a great day as we wind down. What is the last trading day of the month, man?
The month, yeah, crazy, exactly. Bro. All right, big.
There he is.
Oh, yeah, the market's down, so he's super chatting. I see how it is, my friend.
Of course, bro. You
Little Joey Smalls. You got big plans for another boys-only campfire, karaoke, short shorts, long weekend. Hope you do not have to buy another phone because it fell in the water, babe. I swear, kind of time. That's exactly what it is. How did you know what I was doing? So yeah, that's what it is. We got our Daisy Dukes ready and everything along those lines. The jorts, you name it, my friend. All for that boys' weekend around the campfire. Obviously, crazy. Hot dogs on a stick as well. You can't go wrong with those. So yeah, that's what we got going. Another $5 per Thank you, Kyle, very much, and I appreciate the constant heckling. So Snap is #1 trending on StockTwit's rumor of buyout. Oh, okay. Let's take a look at Snapchat.
You've been talking about that for a hot minute.
Snapchat, who's going to buy them out? Okay, yeah, so there it is. Continuing to climb higher, some nice prints around the lows, and then sure enough, you're trading around $7.21. But that is all irrelevant. We got to zoom out and take a look at the daily. Come on, and all these people's Snap scores are insane, and this is how the stock's going to be trading, Sharif. That's it. That's
no, they're not monetizing it enough, though.
They're
Joey.
not monetizing enough, even though they got advertisement out the wazoo. You're down quite a bit, 87%. Let's actually go to a weekly to see what we got going on. We can get a better picture from $82 all the way down to $70. So 90%. Down from those highs, and I don't know if it's going to recover. It's having a really, really bad time. I don't know if I'll ever financially recover from this, for those who know what that is from. But yeah, other than that, guys, let's see if we can get this bounce slowly starting to curl over there in IBIT. Hopefully we don't break out those lows because that's going to be bad, and that's not how you want to close out the month. And then Ether a little bit stronger, so I'm okay, let's go with Bitcoin. It's been stronger. No, today we reversed those rolls right there, my friend. Double bottom right at 32.33, and then now trading back to the volume weighted average price. I'm looking for that on IBIT, but there goes Snap breaking out the high of the day. Way to call that one out, my friend.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to do a more of a deep dive into that because we've been talking about that here on the desk for a long time, that it could be a buyout candidate, and I want to know more about that. So thank you for whoever brought that in the chat, and thank you, Joey, for mentioning that. All right, I flipped to the 1 over here, guys, so you can get a better look at my entries and exits. So as you know, I'm using my top screen for my scanner as well as my 5-second chart where I try to spot micro pullbacks. So we're going to get it in every time I see a micro pullback into a key technical area. I'm talking about IPDN. Oh, baby. This one wants to take out the area high. It just popped up into the $0.75 area, and it looks like it might want to take out area highs over here. So we got 70s on. Let's post them here at 75, and I'll be looking to pick up more if it gives me a good technical area off which to get in. What is that technical area? I'm going to feel it's like the 50 penny area. So I'm going to wait over here at 50s for a dip trade on this one. We got 70s on, showing me 60s and change, but I'm definitely interested in picking up more if it will show me the correct pattern that it is, you know, looking to make higher highs and higher lows. Here we go again into that mid 60s area. Looks like there's a 64 to 63 seller. We're zigging and zagging, unfilled on that 50 dip trade not quite yet, so we'll wait on that. Either a print to the high side. Oh my goodness,
days.
again. There it is, Joseph. And we're going to take out area highs again. So I've got a beak wetter here at 82, but there's a seller in the high 70s, and there it goes again. Oh my goodness. This is a beautiful one today on IPDN. 260%, looking to go more. Sadly, we didn't get that 50 dip trade, so you don't always get what you want, but now it is a new high a day, and it's $7 on the freaking dot, 256%, and looking to take out 7, and there has been no breaches. None, literally none of the 10 EMA on the 5. I really want to show you guys here what I'm looking at on the black charts, you know, at the possible expense of missing a trade, but this is a show for you guys, not just for me to trade. So there it is. There's the fullback. The fullback. I'm thinking football here with Katina Man pounding the table all day about Michael Parsons. There's the pullback into the 10 EMA. Defend number 1. Defend number 2, 3, 4, 5. You guys get it? So beautiful look here on IPN. Joseph Wilson. We're going to keep an eye out on this one.
Good look there. My guy Gorev is long some. Google. I'm looking at this name. Is this going to be a head and shoulder? Maybe not, but if you can get that long, I like your chances there, my friend, considering the open drive was relatively strong. Overall market is just tanking, and then Google and Apple are holding up good. So, yeah, I like your chances there. Nothing from a VPA standpoint. Maybe this hammer liquidity grab. Consistent higher lows, which is positive. So we'll take that for sure. There's nothing wrong there, but what we need is a potential bounce in this bad boy. Come on, break through some resistance zones. You can do it. You're Bitcoin. You're the king of crypto. Anything can happen with this name. We get a buy program to step in. We're down by some key support levels as well too, so we're gonna note that, and yeah, that's what we're gonna kick up. But in the meantime, Sharif, you know what time it is, my friend.
We're gonna look at the sectors.
Ooh, oh my guy, get it. Yes. All right, let's see what the top performing sectors on the day are. All right. Looks like we're getting a little rotation into some defensive names. Consumer staples at the top of its class.
Get it, Joey.
Up about 0.33%. Then financials as well, too. Strong sector. I really like the financials for the next little bit. That might be a solid rotation in there. So we'll take a look at XLF momentarily. Bang. And then real estate, the exact same thing. Up 0.33%. The bottom 3, consumer discretionary, getting smoked. Tesla, yes it is. And then industrials down 1%. And then technologia, the technology sector down 1%. Technologia is down 1.5%. Now, for the week, IWM still holding on to that monster gain, Sharif, up 3.5% on the week. That is Dow now taking the second place. The Qs were there in the SPY where the Dow was in the
what's it doing?
With the bottom one, it's up about 1.5% on the weekend. Then SPY, same thing, 1.125, and then we have the Qs up 1% there, my friend.
So you're saying the Dow's a dud?
No.
No, come on, Dow dud.
The Dow dud. The Dow is the...
What's RAM doing up there? I never really know what to... Whoa, I didn't even finish saying anything. I was already... Did you see that?
No.
I already had a projectile thrown at me there, man. Unbelievable violence, eh? Like, look, you know, we're from the same region of the world, so I get, you know, the quick to anger, quick to cool kind of thing. You know, I share that with you, Ram, but like, stop hitting me with it. All right, all good. 720 HOD on IPDN. Here we go. So it's already breached 7, but as you can see, zigging and zagging at that 7 level, so it hasn't decisively taken it in the way that it didn't decisively take $6 initially, but then we know it did. So be careful with this one, because the thing about these small cap gappers is, as much as I love them, as much as I do fear them, because you don't know when the hell this thing is going to flip the switch on you, right? And it could do it at any time, right? You could make a new high, like an aggressive dollar squeeze into like 8, and then all hell can break loose and it'll halt down. and then you can be caught holding the bag, and then it'll continue halting down. So just be careful, okay? 729 high, we're at $0.25. Joey, I'm sorry, it's a 742 high now, and we're almost up 300%. So the squeeze is on. I don't know what the short percentage on this is. Adara, if you have a moment, can we, thank you, I appreciate that. IPDN, we'll keep an eye out for that. Daryl, let us know exactly what the short float is on this one. I don't even know what the float is, period. So here we go, 748, go ahead, Adara.
1.35 million share float, 10.2% short
10.2, that's beautiful. So it's a very small float, relatively speaking, with not a high short float, but not bad anyway, Joey. So keeping an eye here, and I'm trying to also keep an eye on the 5-second chart above. Just got to flip back to that.
How many shares has it traded today?
This one, we're going on 142 million. So,
it's done like
140 times
yeah, 100
float
times.
rotation. You get it,
Crazy.
right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
the insanity is real. It's fast and furious, but be careful for the downturns. I'm just waiting for this one to calm the hell down so that I can talk about the other ones that I've got on the side chart, because maybe you don't want to trade something as volatile or parabolic as this. And there are others. So I don't want to make you think that this is really the only one. All right, let's bring it in. SKBL looks good. It's up 26 some odd %, and it's kind of putting in that nice little rounding pattern with higher highs and higher lows. Seems to be a seller in and around that high teens, 120. It wicked up to 120, but didn't really spend any time there either. DUO is going to lose its spot on the side chart any moment now. It's been below VWAP for a hot minute, and I don't know why this YDES thing is not updating me with the proper technicals over here. What the hell is this, Joey? Like, why is it not showing me my VWAP, my 20, and my 10? I need explanations.
The Ides of March, baby.
I don't know, man. So anyway, this one is halting to no end. It halts up, halts down. So another volatile one here that may be tougher to trade. GMHS is also losing the volume weighted average price and could lose its spot on the side chart momentarily. There was also WOOF, very consolidative. This one looks like it reported earnings after the bell yesterday because it popped up at 405. Pardon me?
Correct. They just reported earnings after the bell.
Perfect. Thank you, Adara, for that confirming. So 405 earnings report pops up. It's holding yesterday's base. Looks like that base is at 3 3/4. It hasn't lost that level today, and it didn't lose that level after reclaimed it yesterday in the aftermarket. There does seem to be a range at play. Let's just say between 3 1/4 to about 4. At the outlying areas, you can see breaches that 4, goes up to 4 1/4, but nary a closing print above that $4 area, so I would be concerned if I was punching in on the breakout of 4. THAR is going to lose its spot as well. And last but not least, Katina Man brought you this one earlier on, NUKK. This one nuked up initially and then now kind of putting in lower highs, but also putting in higher lows. So a bit of a compression pattern and what looks to be a bull pennant. You'll recall that nuke was all sorts of strong on the 26th. What is that, Tuesday? Yeah, that's a Tuesday. Very strong, and we were trading it on that day. It had a couple of days off, Wednesday, Thursday, took a vacation. It's back today, Friday, for the last trading day, but it is barely above that $5 area, Joey. So it really feels, sadly, that there's only one small cap gapper worth trading at the moment, and that's IPDN. I really don't like anything else. And if there is anything else, I request kindly that you tag myself or Joseph so let us know about it.
Let us know. Let us know. Yeah, all right, guys. So there we go. Bang. We're starting to work here. Volume weighted average price is going to be that target that we're going to hold for. So let's see if we can get that. Let me know in the chat, guys. Do you think IBIT can get to the volume weighted average price? Yes or no? That's a simple question. But we're going to Adara.
You know, not much a move on this yet, but keep an eye on MSOS, Marijuana Moment, which is usually the, I guess, reporting website that leads to these moves in cannabis, reporting that apparently 9 GOP lawmakers sent a letter urging Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of the U.S., to reject cannabis rescheduling. So we've heard a lot of calls maybe for the potential of rescheduling cannabis. Now we're actually having some GOP lawmakers reportedly telling Pam Bondi to reject that rescheduling. Back to you.
Kind of don't get this.
I don't get it at all.
I don't get it. You know, not just because we're Canadian, we have a bias one way or another, but like it just, I can't wrap my mind around it. I've seen alcohol destroy people and destroy families. I personally haven't seen that with marijuana. Have you?
No, I've never. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I get it. Like this, I love America, right?
Yeah.
It's like we want to be leading in crypto, we want to be leading in this and that, but no. You're sorry, guys. You can't legally smoke weed, which is insane. Hit the weed thing there. Hit the weed, man.
He's got it, baby. He's got it. There it is.
What happened?
Come on, Katina, man. Assassino there. There he is.
There we go. There you go, Weed Batman. For me, yeah, obviously, Charlie, it's cool. You know what I mean? It's not that cool, obviously, but at the end of the day, it's not. I think it should be up to you. As Sharif mentioned, you walk down the street, unfortunately, in the city of Toronto. You have people drinking at like 6:30 in the morning, et cetera, et cetera.
And now you can buy it at 7 a.m., bro. You can buy it at 7 a.m. now. Yes.
Yeah, I mean it's like that in the States, but no, you can't legally walk down the street in America and smoke a little of the devil's lettuce. I think that's absolutely crazy.
I love that.
Crazy.
It reminds me of a movie that I love.
So I mean,
devil's lettuce.
Yeah, it is what it is, though, man. To each their own. It's that, like, I get it. Like, you guys are leading in everything, but no, it's like there's no chance that we're gonna legalize this plant that grows.
No chance, because that's what you've got.
There it is. But we're cracking this downtrend. Let's see if we can hold this here slightly. We were slightly in the money for a while now, starting to pull back. And I got some shares on here, so we're gonna have to be really, really patient. VWAP is going to be that target. I don't even know if we get there today without establishing a new low. So we're gonna be patient on that one. But yeah. That's what
See what Stephen ATN did for us right now? What a kind individual, bro. He hit it for us,
thanks,
bro.
Brother.
What a kind guy. Like, I mean, I don't know what I would have done.
We need more.
If you hadn't done that.
Yeah, we need more of you, Stephen.
Steven's great,
do
bro.
a little hit for the boys.
All right. That's interesting, Eddie. Yeah, Eddie coming up with the other side. I have seen some people suffer psychotic breakouts due to THC more than CBD itself. Yeah, I love to hear the other side of the equation, the other side of the argument. So please, bring it and bring it kindly.
No, it's
right?
true.
Like,
some people do have. I know a couple of people that have had like mental breakdowns from weed.
Really interesting.
But,
I haven't met too many of those.
I think that
personally.
also is what it does. I think it triggers something that's already there. And then
interesting.
So
people more predisposed.
Yeah, exactly.
Say,
So like if you have a history of mental illness and then you hop on like the sativas or something, then sure enough it can definitely get that ball rolling.
All right, Adara, you got a €5 super chat over here from AXPM. Adara, I'm holding a big short still from 321 in MongoDB, looking for 229 if 309 breaks. Your thoughts? Give him the goods, Adara.
Yeah, I mean, wow. Thank you for that super chat. That's I love looking at these spready tickers. That 311 is like kind of holding a support. I actually tried a 311 breakdown short and it did not work. Wicked me out. Like I think 313 is like that's where I got kind of wicked out. I think that 313 right now is holding as resistance. If we break above 313, that might be not advice, but just in my opinion, 313 might be an area to, if you haven't taken any profits, to maybe take some profits because it is holding as a little bit of a resistance level, and as you can see, it was actually support going back to yesterday too. 299 as a profit taker is a decent level. I remember that was a level that was on watch on the daily chart, and obviously we literally started yesterday by breaking above it. Sometimes though with these spready tickers, they're even more possessive over these $100 levels than what you'll see with less spready tickers. So with that in mind, maybe consider doing a little bit before the 300 level rather than 299. But that being said, congrats. This is a beautiful, beautiful entry on that short, and shout out to you. 313, I would certainly be aware of, and then maybe considering doing above 300 rather than below 300. But congrats, and thank you very much for considering me and for the super chat.
Thank you very much, Axpum, and thank you, Adara, for giving us your take. I want to mention a couple of new ones. One new one, PMI. This is halted to the upside. All right. Halted at 594. That's the halt price. The percentage up on the day is 32%. Let's take a gander, Joey Options, to see when this one will possibly unhalt. NQ, nope. NY, nope. Amex, yep. Okay, so 11:19:38. So what time is it right now? It is, I just got to look at my atomic clock, 25:08. So this one will be, it looks like, yes, it will be a 10-minute halt at least, okay? Because they open up in waves of 5, and this one should have opened up 11:24:38. Alas, it did not. So it's still halted to the upside at 594. Let me see if I can find out why this one is moving. Let's see what we got over here. Should have it. My news blotter opens up. IPO price per share. Oh, this is an IPO? Allow me a minute. Yes, this is an IPO. Yes, it is. Okay, so this is an IPO. Picard Medical. That is the name of the company. It's on the Amex exchange. So IPO pricing. Here's the information. Picard Medical announces IPO pricing of $17 million initial public offering. What's the share price? Okay, so the opening price was, it opened at $4.21, but it was priced at $4 per share. So it was oversubscribed. It looks like, yes, the deal was priced at a midpoint of $3.50 to $4.50. It ended up opening up at, the price was $4, and then it opened up at $4.21. So this is an IPO, PMI. We'll wait to see if it unhalts it'll be 29.38. That should be the earliest time that this could open, 11:29:38, Joey. So we'll keep tabs on that, and if it does open on that time, we'll bring that to you guys. All right, IPDN rejecting that 7 2/3 area. In fact, right on the dot. 7 2/3 is the high, the day 766, coming back down now into 6.5. Well, guess what? That 6 1/4, 6 1/3 is the 10 EMA on the 5. And as we've seen, and as I've made very clear, this one has absolutely respected the 10 EMA on the 5 all day. So I missed that. I should have been more alive to that. I should have had something in the low 40s, high 30s. But here we go. Do we pop back up? Let's flip to the 5-second chart here on IPDN so we can get a gander at the micro trend. And we are moving back up. We could encounter resistance at 80, given that we did reject that, or we did use that area as support. Let's see if we clear 80 with ease. We're at 80 right now, not clearing it with ease, keeping an eye on my top screen where I'm looking at the 5-second chart, guys, trying to spot the micro pullbacks and the micro trends. So keeping an eye there. So we do reject 80. So we are rejecting 84 now, back into the low 70s. Do we drop back into the 60s? Yes, we are. We are losing the 70s and going into the 60s. So that 80 area will be an area of resistance, at least momentarily, until we can take it out decisively. So now that we've rejected 80, I've got a better read on this one. So if we clear 80, I'll feel a lot more confident punching into this one. So let's wait over here to see if we can get a move back above 80. So I have a couple of options. One, I can wait for the 680 break to take this one, or I can wait for another pullback into that 6 1/3, 640 area where the 10 EMA on the 5 is. Here we go. We're attempting a move back into 680 again. 6 high 70s, curling back up off this level. Let's go ahead and get ready with a position over here to take this one long if it does. No, rejects it again, Joey, and back into the 60s we go. So I'm going to keep watch on this one. Tell them what you're looking at, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still on the same thing, right? Just because how I'm positioned. So I won't be putting... I'm still in the same thing just because of how I'm positioned here. I probably won't be entering any other trades as of right now. Again, we cracked this downtrend line, so we're looking for this to hold. I think VWAP might be a dream considering that we did break it. Volume did slowly start to pick up here, but then again, it's just we don't even want to get anywhere relatively close to it. Let's take a look at spot itself. And on the daily to see what it's up to over there. And pull up the daily. Because, yeah, see, so we're right at a neckline here. So, I mean, this was a neckline, but we're at another key support level, and it doesn't seem to want to be respecting it. So you don't want to fight it too aggressively. If I get stopped out, it is what it is. We'll take a big-time loss. So put me about 3/4 of my shutdown, roughly, or so, if we do. So I'm willing to risk that and wait until we get to the volume-weighted average price. But, again, from a daily standpoint, not looking too good. And the same
PMI open.
Okay, there you go.
All right, PMI is open, guys. It's up 75%, and it just popped up into 680. It was halted at 594. It's now clearing 7s. This is up 75% now. Here we go. Let's see what PMI does. I've got no technicals off which to work. I'm going to have to fly blind here. It's an IPO. What am I supposed to do? We know that 580 level, 590 level, could be support as that was the halt level. Sorry to interrupt you, Joey. I just wanted to let everybody know. It looks like we're going to hold down here, Joey. Halt parameter showing up at 585 here on PMI. So as quickly as this one was up into to 720. Wow, it just popped up aggressively, 80 pennies. The spread is opening up, though, guys, as the liquidity, it looks like it's not all there quite yet. So PMI, IPDN, Adair is going to tell you about crypto.
Solana certainly on watch here. I think we're going to talk about that during the news segment. Excuse me, so I don't want to overstep. We're going to talk here about ETFs in the crypto space because there are quite a few. There is an ETF analyst by the name of James Safart. He posted yesterday on X. Apparently, there are currently 92 crypto-related ETFs awaiting review from the SEC. Apparently, a lot of these have to do with Solana and XRP, but also Litecoin with some potential ETFs here on watch. Quite a few, apparently Solana, 8 pending ETF applications, XRP with 7 pending ETF applications. This makes them, I guess, the most sought after crypto investments after BTC and Ethereum. Speaking of BTC, this is now unfortunately in a downtrend from its high of the day, from its all-time high on the daily chart. As you can see, we get that all-time high just below 125,000. Then we get a lower high Friday, the 22nd. That would be last week. Then yesterday, with that pop here into just below 14,000, we make another lower high and breaking out of this support from earlier in the week. We've also made a bit of a lower low. Now, BTC, of course, as Sean has mentioned, it tends to pull back after making a new all-time high. So all hope is definitely not lost for Bitcoin, but right now, a little bit weaker. Let's take a look at Ethereum here. Ethereum trying to hold on right now to some support and resistance around that 4,300 area, and last but not least, Solana. Solana is actually holding up really well, decidedly still in an uptrend on the daily chart, and trying to break out of this previous resistance around 210. So mixed looking crypto, that's for sure. Expect more Solana talk during our news segment later in the midday. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adair. Katina, man, you've been in Solana for like several hot minutes now. What's your price there, brother? I remember you talking about this in like 22, right? 20. You were talking about this in. Yeah. He's in from 20 bucks. You bought more? The Katina man bought more at 200. He was in from like 20 though, by the way. So yeah, there's that. I remember him talking about Solana and Cardano like 3-4 years ago when nobody was buying.
Ether.
How's Ether doing?
Ether's in trouble, I think.
He tried to be his own Tom Lee. You got to start a treasury hoarding company, Katina man. It's going to be real trading, hoarding Solana and Cardano. We're gonna have to talk to Peter about that.
All right,
let's go, Peter.
Let's see what Dell does.
Does Peter like crypto? He doesn't like crypto, huh?
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's go over some of these earnings names. Dell, not too bad of a look here, I guess, even though you do have that initial drive extremely weak here. So that's something to keep a note, but starting to recover a lot of it. So that's something positive. At least that's starting to recover. AFIRM, AFRM. Let's take a look at this one, selling off as well too. Nice strong opening drive. I had my eyes on it, but I didn't like anything in the setup. Just right out of the gate, boom, just decides to go parabolic. An opening price of around 92 and then trades up to $100, as Neil mentioned not too long ago this morning as well. So that's not too bad of a look, but downtrend still fully intact here, folks. Is it going to snap? Maybe, possibly. Can we consider that? I think so, but we obviously want to have as many touches as possible. That's going to give more strength to our trend line there, Sharif.
Yeah, Joey. Okay, I'm still watching here as IPDN does consolidate. It is a tight area of consolidation. It seems like it's got about $0.50, maybe a little bit higher than the $0.50. Let's just say maybe 55, 60 as support. And it's using generally 75 to 80 as resistance. And that's been the case now since 125, so almost 10 minutes now of a sideways consolidation. That's typically not good if you're long, right? You're looking for higher highs on these. What keeps me optimistic that this one could hold the level and in fact take out that 80 penny level we keep talking about is the fact that it's still above the 10 EMA on the 5. It has not lost that 10 EMA, despite the fact that the 10 EMA has been getting higher and higher to reflect the price action. Here we are at the 10 EMA. So I may want to eat my words now if this loses it. Let's see. I'm not involved, but I was just singing this one's praise that it was picking up off the 10 EMA. And here we go. We're going to lose the 10 EMA momentarily. It looks over here at 630. I'm going to try this. We're going to give this a 6 1/4. If it loses 6 1/4, fine. That's the deal. We're in at 40s, Joseph options, so we're going to set up here at 45s, and let's set up at 50s as well. See if we can get a nice bounce off this level. Did we get the 45 print? Not quite yet. So we'll see what we get there. We're going to give this a try. We're at the 10 EMA. Let's see if we can hold. There's definitely a seller in the mid-40s, and it looks like they're getting more aggressive because now the lows are a little bit lower, and we do get stopped out. So we'll give back a little bit there on IPDN, which is okay. Got to give these a shot. I like the level there at the 10 EMA on the 5, but it doesn't hold, and it doesn't look like it will hold here unless we get a nice big bounce back up. But if we move to 6, we're losing it already, so we've lost it. We haven't lost it on a closing basis, but yeah, we just lost it right now, so keep a lookout on that. MJ, GX, 911, have a look at Nuke. Yeah, man, I've got Nuke up here on the side chart. It's too consolidated for me, though, MJ, because I talked about this early on with Joey and you guys. This looks like a compression pattern to me, okay? We've got lower highs, but we also have higher lows. And look at where that intermediary point is, VWAP, literally the middle ground right there. So it looks like a line of best fit as opposed to any area of support or resistance. So usually the compression pattern like this with higher lows, lower highs, and higher lows, resolves in the direction of the trend. So you need only look at percentage up on the day. We're up 36, 37%. So the trend is clearly up. So whether or not we end up, meeting that textbook definition, your guess is as good as mine. I'd base it off key levels. For example, if it lost 490, for example, I'd be out. So risk 10 pennies, get in at 5. It's been giving you 5 multiple times. So I'd risk maybe 10, 12 pennies if you want to put it at 88. Give yourself a bit of a buffer off that 10 penny level. And then look for continuation, possibly near that 3/4, if not the 4/5, 585, 575. Let me know how it goes, brother. But Nuke, for me, at the moment, too consolidative and not respecting the areas that I look at for technical support and resistance. Volume-weighted average price is one of those, Joey.
All right, good look there, my brother, man. All right, so you see our average price there on IBIT. Here's the trade right now, just building in on those consolidation lows. And then let's take a look at the chain, because I'm like, why are we continuously getting stuck at that 62 level roughly? I mean, we got 7,000 contracts here, but the congestion is up in the higher levels here. So you can see as soon as we hit that 65, it's 30,000, 24,000, 45,000, 23. So we have that congestion that can definitely put some downward pressure on it. Now let's take a look at NVDA, king of the chips, and what we had going on those 85 strikes and those 90s. Look at that grow. Right, this is post earnings report right here, guys. So 112,000, and leading into the earnings, we were only sitting around 85 to 90,000 open contracts, and then sure enough, you run up to 200, 101. So we need those to lift in order for the market to start climbing. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a really, really strong Christmas rally, considering. But at the end of the day, we got to be patient and wait for those for that to come, obviously. So we'll be patient, as I mentioned umpteen times. Now let's take a look at Apple as well, because yesterday it put in a monster session and helped drag the overall market with it. So what do we have from an option standpoint here? At 215, 43,000. This is on the put side, 43,700 contracts right there. And then sure enough, there's nothing substantial. If you get higher on the puts, look at the open interest. Essentially nothing. It just falls off a cliff there. So keep that in mind. And then let's also take a look at Google. To see what it's up to. And I was listening to some CNBC last night, and a lot of analysts are bullish on Amazon. They think that it has the most potential upside out of the Mag 7, just due to AWS. They we don't even look at it as an e-commerce anymore. It's all about cloud. So there is Google, 215. You have 33,800 contracts, and then we have a high of the day of around 212.37. 2.5, so 16,600 right there. But let's take a look at Amazon to see what's cooking with this name. 230, 16,200 right there. 232.5, 24,000. So you can see at each increment, you start to grow as you climb, and then you have the congestion between 237 and 227. So that 10-point congestion phase right there, Sharif.
All right, man. I see you guys saying, that the latency has increased there in the chat. Yeah.
I think that's due to the 4K.
Yeah, I know. I tried to reduce the quality on mine as well. We'll get that fixed. It's the first day, guys. We'll have it repaired. We'll have everything good to go. It's just the first day, and you know how growing pains are. When anytime you change anything, there's always growing pains. So we do apologize. I have noticed it. I've seen the clock on the bottom of our screen. I've compared that to my stream, which I can run simultaneously, and there is a variance. So I do understand that. Thank you. Yes, I see Edin. Eden San Jose. Yes, I'm going back and forth with him in the chat. I did Assassino. I did it on my side as well. It didn't. Oh, the speed of the stream.
Yeah.
So like 2 times stream. Interesting. Okay, so Assassino giving me a nice. That's what people are saying in the chat. So Assassino is telling me that if you increase the playback speed on your side of things, so go like 1.5, 2, apparently it catches up. So that might be a little trick. You hear us in fast forward for a little bit, then you catch up, and then you can kind of reverse that. Give that a try. Let me know if it works. Tag myself or Joseph. Let us know if that's working for you guys or what. I know, guys. I know. We're gonna. It's growing pains, baby. Let's go. Wasn't Growing Pains the TV show? Yes, it was, Eddie. But that's not what I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about growing pains, as in, you know, the evolution of the show. Sometimes doesn't go as clean as you'd like, right? So that's all I wanted to mention there. Nick, 499, super chat. Joseph, options. Can you look at ARM, long dated, June 160, 26 calls. And DDOG, 138 strike October calls, like the long in those.
Right,
Joseph, options.
Yeah. Let's take a look at them.
You've been requested.
I've been summoned, yes. All right, let's take a look at Datadog. And would you also say ARM? Yeah, let's take a look at both of them. DDOG. D-Dog, Datadog.
We are doing it live, Steven.
Okay, it's very much live there, my friend. So yeah, there it is. Datadog looking pretty rough here from an intraday standpoint. But I mean, that's look at the market, right? So it's going to sell. It's going to be correlated. But at the end of the day, what we want to do is just take a look at our TA, do some basics here. If you can crack this downtrend, I think that you're going to be sitting on some pretty pennies. So be patient. This is just a selling day. You get that 3-bar play. You open up. As long as you don't crack those lows and start filling this gap, I think you'll be all right. You get that 3-bar play. You open up around here, and then hopefully you have a nice, strong Tuesday coming into the market. And I think that might be the case, right, considering how weak we are today. And then let's also take a look at ARM, and see what it's up to. So again, off of these April lows, nothing horrible. Outpaced the market 108%, which is insane. And then now you're starting to pull back. But I think at some point you do have this indecision print right here. You have plenty of time on these contracts. June 160, you're pretty good. They are extremely out of the money. I'm not sure when you've purchased them. So that's about 20 points or so, 22 to be exact. So keep that in mind. But once you start to fill this gap, I think you'll be off to the races. Hopefully you do get the complete fill and then head towards some key resistance levels and let that pop through. But other than that, I think you got to be patient. The Datadog contracts, not as much time, but the ARM contracts, you got plenty of time there.
Oh, Casey. Get it, Casey. $10 soup chat. August. One of the best months. Thank you, Sharif, for your support. You're the best. No, Casey, you're the best. Small cap gapper trader, and we're born one day apart. Shout out to you, Casey. I hope you're printing up multiple storms on your side. Always really happy to hear about your successes, Casey. Trust me, I live vicariously through you. So thank you for that super chat, and thank you for your kind words and also showing up every day to trade with us, these small cap gappers. Guys, IPDN just took a big pop off that 20 EMA on the 5 like a glove, man. This one is clearly the algo that's trading this, or the traders that are trading this, are clearly using the 10 and the 20. I mean, I just won't be convinced otherwise. We hold the 10 3 times, and then we dip into the 20, and we hold double bottom right at that 575, exactly where the 20 was at, and we pop into 675. Alas, we're still about $1.25 off the high, 766 high. So keep your eye on this one. It's not, you know, at the day's highs, but it is still giving you that opportunity for some. I mean, this is the best one so far. Okay, Wolf tried to work its way back above VWAP, but it's putting in lower highs, and it looks consolidative to me, very consolidative. Again, $4. This is the only one that I could consider other than IPDN, SKBL. And SKBL was very strong a couple of days ago, Joseph. Yesterday did kind of bupkis, but today it's putting in that bull flag pattern with higher lows, and that's all I care about, those higher lows, baby. But you're not getting much in the way of notional. It's up 25 3/4, but the notional isn't really there. So it may be harder to extract, the profits off this one than maybe a couple of days ago. I want to bring to your attention PMI. This thing's halted down at 545. This is the IPO. It has lost now the volume weighted average price. The halt time on PMI, 1139.08. It's 45. So this one does look like it's going to be another 10-minute halt. I'm not sure why the exchange keeps slapping this one with a 10-minute halt, but this is on the MX. So we will not be able to know what the theoretical auction price is during the halt because we don't get that information. We only get that information from the Nasdaq. You won't get it from the Amex or the New York. They won't, and if you get it, it typically is inaccurate. So this one's showing top 545, but that is the halt level and it has not moved. So PMI will likely be a 10 or more minute halt for the second time today. So we'll keep an eye out on that and I'll report to you guys if I take a trade on it. Nothing for me right now, Joseph Options, because I don't like the way IPDN is setting up.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to steer clear, sadly, of this one for the moment until it sets up in a more advantageous way.
Steer clear. I like that one, my friend. So there it is. All right, so we're still consolidating, holding this level. Downtrend cracked. Positive. Now, can we get a little bit of a bounce? There we go. There's a nice little pop right there. But you can see on the lower time frames, there's some key levels that we need to breach. Consistent lower highs, which is so frustrating. I don't know if you ever remember that club, Sharif, back in the day. It was a good time. But anyways, back to reality. We're starting to move now. The volume weighted average price is going to be the primary goal, considering how long I've been holding this trade here now. Okay. So just in case you guys were wondering, that was the lunch bell. So if anybody's hungry, then please go in.
Yeah, no, I just thought you were going to go say hi to your friend.
Well, I thought you were.
That didn't work out too well for me, did it? At all.
Yeah, I would love to tell that story.
No, you're not going to, though. Come on now, bro.
Exactly. I'm not
Don't do it, Joseph Options.
I'm not going to. But by the way, Trader TV Live, there was a little typo. Instead of saying F your stream, it was supposed to be if your stream. All right, so yeah. So that's what I thought.
Who's that? Is that Ram?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, she did
corrected it.
So
Fabian's defending her.
I'm like, all right, I didn't know it was down like that, but I was like, yeah, all right, I see how it is, but yeah, good stuff.
We know how
guys.
sinister
Having
she
fun.
is, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
We know.
Having fun as always, as we do over here.
She has
Tesla,
fun at other people's expenses. That's what she does there. You know?
Is not, yeah, exactly. This is not cracking. So this is why we just do our trend lines, multiple tests of this specific level, and it just is having absolutely no part of it. It's so weak. I think it's the weaker asset today for sure, considering where it's sitting at from a daily standpoint. So I'm probably going to just end up taking the loss on this, considering that you're not even getting a bounce to VWAP. I'm not asking for much, Sharif.
Bro, why is the market
well, I mean, it is
today?
weak.
What the hell is going on? We didn't even get any bad numbers, man.
No, hold on 1 second here before we send it off to Adara. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's all not that bad. You're down
your friend BYD's down 7.5%. I'm punching the buy button.
Are you? Go ahead.
I'm punching the buy button.
Do it right. Do it live.
You know how many times I've wanted to get into BYD and haven't?
Do it.
It's just because it's a Chinese company. It terrifies me, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're at the mercy of the overnight risk, right?
It's BYD, though.
Yeah, it is BYD.
It's BYD.
But, I mean, we'll probably talk about that a little bit later on. But, Adara, what do you got for us?
I'm seeing this circulate on X, but I looked into it, and this is at least 24 hours old. But so people are saying here on X that Akazawa, who is a trade negotiator, I guess the top trade negotiator in Japan, has canceled his White House trip. Now, I looked into this. This is not news. It was initially reported here on CNBC at 1 a.m. on Thursday morning. So it is well over 24 hours old. And at the time, it wasn't even just a report. It was actually already confirmed by Japan's chief cabinet secretary. So again, we are seeing here some headlines on X about how Japan's trade negotiators canceled his trip to the White House, to the U.S. We already knew this. This is, I want to repeat again, not breaking news. But it does maybe moving the markets here. Hello.
There, didn't they strike a 15% tariff deal with Japan, or is that temporary?
Apparently they're having some issues, I guess, with the deal, and that's why he's not coming now. Because he was supposed to come, and then according to this chief cabinet secretary Yoshimasa Hayashi, during the coordination with the U.S., it quote became apparent that certain points required further technical discussion. So because of that, the trip is canceled, and it seems like the U.S., as much as they were saying these letters were going to be the deals, kind of start to wonder if that's actually the case.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting because I thought that they had ironed out exactly what Japan was going to buy, Remember they were going to buy some American rice. That was, and Donald was pounding the table about the rice.
About the rice.
And yeah, that's what I remember. And I remember they got the most favored nation. They got 15%, like Europe got 15%. South Korea got 15%, and that seems to be the baseline. That's why everyone was talking about 15, right?
15.
I don't know. Okay, we'll have to find out more information about that.
One more thing here before I send it back to you, my brother. Look at Ether go. You're now north of VWAP, and we can't even get Bitcoin to go to the volume-weighted average price. So that's just displaying how weak it is as the market is heading back towards the low of the day there, guys. So yeah, some more weak stuff right there.
See your friend Ram in the chat there? She's chirping the chat.
Yeah, she's going hard in the chat.
That's you, Fabian? All right, cool.
Yeah.
Now it's okay. If it's Fabian, then that's fine.
They're going hard in the paint.
Yeah.
Man.
Not Ram. No. I don't want to take him.
Ram was in there earlier saying, bleep everyone.
Unbelievable.
Bleep your stream, man.
Fabian, I could kind of tell it was Fabian. That's Fabian's sarcasm right there. Yeah, I like that. Barney, 415. Sharif. You have to punch in a BYD after you build your dream. I know that's what it's called, man. I know that's what they call it. I just don't understand why a Chinese company is built on an English expression. Like, how's going on over there, BYD? Could come up with your own name or what's going on? So, yeah, we'll keep tabs on that. No, but I definitely do want to punch into BYD. And let me just show the chart, man. Let's just stop talking about it and get into it and show the chart on. I'm talking obviously about the OTC ADR, BYDDY. Yeah, the F1 Katina, man, that's the ADR. Mendel keeps explaining it, and I keep forgetting his explanation, but there's two. There's BYDDY and BYDDF. Y is the actual ADR. Let's go to the weekly, just so I can get a good, okay, Joseph.
Yes, sir.
Bro.
Brother.
This is not a technical level?
Yeah, but
Once,
we're south of it. We're south
twice,
of it,
we haven't closed. OB thrice, here we are. I'm gonna have to log out and punch.
Okay, do your thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna log out, I'm gonna punch, and then, so can you take over for a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Yeah, this is again. I just gotta be patient, and see if we can break this trend. If we do, yeah, do it that
way on the phone.
Yeah, easier that way.
Perfect.
Okay, so the Q's starting to get a little bit of a bounce here as well, too, off of those lows. So not quite heading into the LOD right there. Are we going to get back into the volume-weighted average price? Consistent lower highs throughout this price action pattern. So just keep that in mind. What are you guys looking at? What's everyone trading? I know my guy Los Polios just mentioned some stuff on Tesla. I'm not seeing anything on the 5-minute right now. This indecision, I think, is what you're referring to, but that's more or less just a doji candle, right? So you got the bottom and selling pressure, not the hammers that we're necessarily looking for. And then also Okta, OKT.
Yeah, OKTA.
Yep. Oh, wow. Okay, there it goes. Bang. All the way up to 95. Why can't we do that in Bitcoin here? Volume really starting to kick in. Look at the profile there, guys. Stair step up, and then it just explodes, breaking through yesterday's high, breaking through some of the pre-market support levels, and then also today's intraday high with extreme velocity and vigor right there. So some good stuff. Yes.
Yeah, Okta literally just seems to be people excited about options, specifically one user on X. That's right, I'm seeing 3 posts from the same user on X. I'm not seeing any news with regards to OKTA. It seems like this might be an options-based breakout, but that's as far as I can tell from X. Okay. Again, if I get news, I'll let you know, but it also seems to be only one user on X even driving this.
What the hell? What the hell?
Let's pull it up.
Thank you, Adara.
Let's pull it up. You got what makes you say options, Adara?
Because people are posting photos of the options. Like, if I ever say options, it's only because people on X are speculating
I'm just curious because I would like to know some more information on like what specific. But if you don't have it, if it's other people posting it, then that's fine. I'm just looking for something specific that is eye-popping and says, hey, this is why we're moving. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm just going through the expiration cycles here. I'm now in September, so that's 14 days out. And we would be able to tell through the volume or open interest. And I don't see anything substantial substantial just yet. But again, if Adair is mentioning, some people are talking about it somewhere along the chain, I'm sure someone in the chat will know about it. So if you do, please inform me, and then we'll have the ability to pull it up. I'll go through a couple more cycles. Now we're in the 19th. And then now let's go over to some October expiration dates. I don't see anything just yet, but if you guys see something, please let me know, and then we're going to pull it up on the chain, and then maybe we'll do a little strat builder on it as well, too.
All right, man. Drive and Discover has been telling me about NXTT, and it's sub $1, and you guys know how I feel if you've been watching the show for a while. I mean, I don't like these sub $1 names. I'll trade them from time to time when there's nothing else going on, but I really try and avoid them, and there's a whole bunch of reasons why. But this one is not bad. Drive and Discover. It sold off to no end yesterday, basically from the bell onward. So this was an obvious sell program if I've ever seen one over here. This is the 5-minute chart too. So it's not even like the 1 minute where you could say most of the candle. No, almost all these candles are red, and it was defending the 10. Someone was offloading up a storm on this stock yesterday. My goodness. But alas, it's recovering a little bit. Up 76 and change today. To recover yesterday's price, has got to get back above that $1. So this one, get back above 60 pennies. It looks like someone was selling over 2 days here, Joey Options, because they started selling on the 27th. We were at the $1 exactly. By the time 8 p.m. came that day, we were at 60 pennies. We opened up at 60 pennies yesterday, and we dropped all the way down to 23. We did recover in the aftermarket, coming back to about 35 pennies. And then off that 35 penny level, we are up to today's high of almost 56 pennies, 55.96. We're at that 50 penny level right now. It does look like here, Mr. Drive and whatever there, Drive and Discover, sorry, I keep forgetting your name. It does look like we are using the 10 EMA here on the 5 as support. Again, as I mentioned, 75% and change. So I'll keep my eye on this one. I've got some aversion to these sub $1 stocks, but not enough to, permanently keep them off. So let's throw that NXTT. We're going to throw that on there, and we'll keep tabs on it. But this is not a bad looking chart pattern though. Aside from the fact that it's sub $1, the chart pattern looks solid, like a good one. Off the highs, of course, which is fine, but definitely a solid looking chart pattern. But I don't think IPDN is done quite yet. It's trying to work its way back above the 10. Obviously, by extension of that, it's above the 20. And VWAP, it's about $1.25. $1.33 maybe off that high, which isn't that bad. It's trying right now to break through that key local technical area of resistance. I'm talking about 6.5. And 6.5 is not a one-off as resistance. It was once, twice. OB, he is the one thrice again over here, rejecting 6.5. So despite the fact that we've gone all the way to 766, this 6.5 area is a staunchy little bugger and keeps coming in as resistance. So what can we do to try and gauge whether or not we're going to clear or reject that 6.5? Well, one thing that I always look at is whether we're putting in higher lows or lower lows. And a quick cursory view of the chart shows you that we are in fact putting in those higher lows in anticipation of a 6.5 break and take. So I'm going to still be very interested in trading IPDN. So if I get in here, Joey, I'd have to give it to 6, that 6 area, because that's the previous area trough. So that's a little too rich for my blood. It's going to have to come down just like it is right now into that area. Now we're going to punch, okay? So now we're going to give it to 6. What do we get? We got 19s. Let's take out some at 25, and then we'll, and then we'll take out some at 30, and then we'll take out some at 35. And then we'll take out some in the high 40s. Let's see if we can get that nice price spike up. And I'm going to move my stop into 598. All right, so we'll give that a little bit of room and see what we get there. So we've got a doji candle on right now, a candle of indecision, but we have bottom print for now. Underline that, for now. We need continuity. We know that the resistance is at 6.5, not 6 1/3. So I'm looking for continuity here. I will not DCA below 6. Come hell or freaking high water. I just won't. So I will get stopped out, and I will allow myself to get stopped out if it does go against me, Joey. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one. And now we're going to throw it up to Adara for happening now. Then Neil is going to have his lesson of the day.
One thing that's happening now is apparently still this hearing with Lisa Cook. If I get any more news from it, I'll let you know. But the Nasdaq here almost at low of days now. Economic data was certainly on watch this morning, but pretty much all of the numbers that came out at 8:30 a.m., so that would be PCE and core PCE, personal income, consumer spending, they all came in exactly in line with the estimates. The one exception to that would be wholesale inventories, which came in a little bit higher than expected. Then at 9:45 a.m., we got a lower than expected Chicago PMI print, followed by lower than expected University of Michigan consumer sentiment prints, and lower than expected 1-year and 5-year inflation expectations. Here's MSOS. This is going to be on watch. Doug Cass, he runs a management, or I guess head fund here called Seabreeze. He's apparently saying that there are rumors of a rescheduling announcement today. So keep an eye here in MSOS. Apparently, we could be seeing rescheduling announcement-related rumors as early as today. Lots of earnings on watch. Here is a look at an Affirm-related infographic you can find on X at TTD Research. So, apparently my mic's having issues. We'll send you to Neil in his lesson of the day. It's weird.
Okay, we'll get back to it there in a quick little second. Your lesson of the day, we like follow through, but I think sometimes when trades follow through, it's not always super intuitive, and that can be an advantage. So what I mean is, when you have a day like today, or any day where you have extreme extension, in this particular case to the downside, when a strong name rolls over and has continuation, it might end up being a better opportunity than, say, grabbing the high. Everyone that trades or watches the show probably knows I like mean reversion, and there's a setup that I have that I really like. But the second part of the trade was better than getting the high. And I think the why can be important, and how we could get back into these, at least how I can get back into these, is going to be the object of the lesson. So Affirm, I'm going to talk about some strong names today, or relatively strong names today. Affirm is still up 11% here. Strong day after earnings. Sometimes it's just, it gets to $100 and $100 is $100. Now, ultimately, I'm like, yeah, if it gets to 100, I wanted the long off 88. As you can see, it never even tried to fill in the gap into here. So that was never going to be a factor. And once it was going, you just try to short it into the volume weighted average price, which I had my VWAP set wrong on one of my charts. It doesn't really make a difference. The point here is what happens when it loses VWAP. And really, when you think about a stock that's up 20-something%, I know it's relatively strong and you can be looking for long, but you can ask yourself, like, what is the bigger opportunity? Is the bigger opportunity if it fails under VWAP and not only has $6 to the low of the day, but $9 to the gap fill, or if it bounces VWAP and has $4 to the high? So in this particular case, yeah, sure, it's great if it can go into the long, but with the market bleeding, there's almost a better opportunity looking for that secondary trade. And I don't mind taking a shot at the long. It's what happened right after the long didn't work. Right in here, twice. You see it fail a top break. You see it fail lower. At this particular moment, it's about 10 o'clock. So if you're looking at the futures, you'll know that the futures are going to try to bounce off the lows and fail. It's twice at the volume weighted average price. And it's not this has everything to do with risk to reward. Ultimately, you've got more room for this to be a big continuation short both times off VWAP than you have a long back into the high. It's just a bigger opportunity because of how far this was extended. And I would extend that as well to something like Opendoor. Opendoor is another example of this. It was a relatively strong stock. When it finds the low, this time I even hold through VWAP. I'm like, okay, I got it back into the breakout price. But what happens after it bounces? Stop me if you've heard this before. As the market's trying to bounce, the market fails, this fails VWAP, and how big is the move? From here to the high, you've got about 25 to 30 pennies. From here to filling in the entirety of the gap, now I would venture you've got 1-to-1 here to this part of the gap, but you also have the support down at 420, which anyone that watched this show yesterday knows 420 was a bit of a thing for Opendoor. It's about that risk to reward. If the market continues to fall, the idea that you can join the reversal trade and get more out of the second trade than even getting the high of the day, pulling into, say, VWAP or into prior support. There are moments, and Friday can be an example of this, maybe more often than not. Some people like to call Free Fall Friday, whatever it is. But unless you're short something which is already going down, or just holding on to a short, when you're sitting there in the middle of the day and you catch a reversion like this, or you catch a bit of a top, the instinct to be like, oh, it's a strong stock, let me just get out and take my profit because it can bounce with a higher low here. That's all well and good. And you can get out. But if it sets it up for you to get back in to the short position with light risk, but the idea that the stock plays catch up and gives you a huge risk to reward if it just catches up with what the market has already done is almost too good to ignore. So sometimes you want to open yourself up. Don't get anchored to the fact that you had the top, because ultimately who cares, right? Like, you can have the high of the day and that's the greatest entry in the world. But if you can get one at a lower high that yields a better return, then you want to take that trade, because that trade's actually just better. It doesn't matter if you get the high. It's the same thing at buying at the low. Like, so what if you buy at the low and get X? If you could have bought at a price higher, at a higher low, and that allows you to hold for the entirety of the day, then that makes that a better trade. So be willing sometimes to reshort a stock, even if it seems like it's relatively strong, in a situation like this where the futures are just showing no signs of curling, and it gives you that kind of a setup. So sometimes the continuation trade isn't that you have to hold on to it longer. It's that right after you get out, if you see a re-entry and the RAR to R is still fantastic and you're going with the grain of the market, you need to double down. Like Joey Swoll says, you need to do better. I need to get back into both of those shorts. I don't know. I'm watching a lot of Joey Swoll videos on YouTube. Like, you watch something, it just keeps on getting suggested and suggested more and more. And to be honest, I really like what he stands for. It's really just about down to bullying and have more of a positive atmosphere, and down to everybody who feels like the only way that they can get attention is to put other people down. And it's just like, if your go-to move to get attention is to constantly throw shade at other people, I get it. We live in a world and we live in a social media society where that kind of gravitas and whatever gets rewarded, but it's still trash at the end of the day, and it speaks more to the person that you are, that the only way you want to get attention is to put negative on others. That's why I watch Joey Swoll. So that's now like an ancillary lesson of the day. I don't even know how I got onto that rant, but I think we're going to go back to Adara before we go to the boys. Oh, we're not? No? Okay, we'll go back to the boys. Go get them.
Yeah, I never really understood that. Like, I don't understand why people have to be so critical of
I think
others
it speaks to their confidence or lack thereof.
Yeah,
I think that misery loves company, as the old saying goes. So if you're a miserable person, you want others around you to be miserable. But can I throw my own 2 cents onto this?
Yeah, of course.
I like to I notice people's faults, but I like to point out their strengths.
Yeah, of course.
And not because I'm some altruistic angel. I'm actually a POS.
Yeah,
but
same.
it's actually because I want good vibes around me.
Yeah.
If I bring you up, you're more likely to manifest good vibes. Yeah. And it's selfish for me to want good vibes, because if you give good vibes, I'm likely to have good vibes.
Yeah. So,
right? So I do it out of selfish reasons. Full disclosure.
Yeah,
I say that again, Assassino? Survival instinct. There you go. Assassino bringing it back to Darwinian. I love it. I absolutely love it. No, man.
I just never understood. Like, people are in the gym for a reason. Like, you don't know why that individual has been in the gym. I remember when I was 22, I broke up with my girlfriend at the time. And that just, like, the fuel that it fires, it's like, you don't know why. I think there's a bunch of reasons why dudes get involved in the gym. It's when they get their heart broken, or they're just like, their boys are hopping on a bunch of gear or something like that, and they want to as well.
Either of those. No, it wasn't either of those.
You're just a natural
I just liked the gym because I wanted to be like the guys in the magazines.
Like, I mean, let me put it to you this way. My grandparents had me working out since I was a young kid. I've been going to the gym for a long time, ever since I played hockey. Yeah. But the fuel that after that breakup at 22, a decade ago, it was different, man. That fire that burns in you is insane. Yeah.
Good. I like to hear that.
I'm sure there's a lot of people in the chat have gone down that road as well too, but that was big for me personally. So that's what got me into it, and it burns for years too. That's the sick thing about it. Yeah, how long it can last. So yeah, that was what really got me super heavy. And then shortly after is when I started boxing, and then that was like it's like no way. I have this gut feeling, and I get to hit people in the face at the same time. Did you
hear that, Neil?
In a calculated,
he's got to bring him back to violence every time.
In a calculated manner? No, let's see what Adara's got for us, guys.
We do have a bit of an update here on the Lisa Cook hearing. It concluded with no immediate ruling. Apparently, the judge asked lawyers to discuss whether she can skip over needing to issue temporary orders to preserve the status quo while she continues to consider the merits of the legal fight. I did a lot of research into this judge and into Lisa Cook. We will talk about that during our afternoon news segment, but I will have a lot more to say on this. Right now, though, this hearing does end without an immediate ruling. She did ask some subsequent court documents to be submitted by next Tuesday. So hopefully we'll have a little bit more news after Labor Day. Back to you. Hi.
Is that this court of first instance will likely be inconsequential because almost certainly one side or the other will appeal. I'm almost willing to bet that this ends up in the Supreme Court.
Oh, yeah.
And Donald's record currently, at least in Trump 2.0, is very good in the Supreme Court. And I mean, are you shocked by that? I'm not shocked.
No, he's designed it that way. Yeah, but I will say too, with regards to this, is I think it's really smart she didn't rule because she said herself she's really worried that if she rules either way, she's going to get overturned. So she does not want to get overturned in an appeal. So instead, she's not having a ruling. She wants to get all her ducks in a row, especially with the issue of cause and the lack of precedent for that cause. This has never happened before in the Fed's history with a president trying to oust a Fed member. So I think she's incredibly smart to be patient and wait to, I guess, see a bigger picture. I think she's playing this well.
That's one perspective, but typically from my experience, a judge reserves when they don't understand the area of the law that well and they need to cross their T's and dot their I's, not just because they don't want to get overruled. I'm sure no judge in any circumstance wants to get overruled. It's kind of a slam dunk on them. So I just can't wait for this to actually get to the Supreme Court because I don't know. My gut feeling is that's where it ends. We'll see. Maybe we'll do a little bit of an over-under or something like that.
I mean, so the thing is, too, because I just want to say quickly as well, I did look into the judge, Gia Kopp. She actually has a history in I guess, employment-related disputes. So she does know this area of the law. And as I kind of said, too, I do think part of it is that this specific instance is something that, she's not familiar with because no one is with the president, right? So that I agree with, but I think also, she wants to make sure that she has a better understanding of the picture. We'll have to see how this goes, but I think it's going to be pretty complicated.
I'm sure every judge, they don't want to get overruled. So
oh man,
that does make sense.
Oh yeah, Sharif.
Finally doing well.
Finally,
okay.
Brother, you don't even understand. Like, I don't know if you can see that number right there, but it's we're in it to win it, that's for sure. There's no questioning that. So maybe as soon as we get to 75s, are we going to touch 75s? I might just flatten this position because that's a really, really nice trade, and I don't want to bother anymore. So actually, you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to take the majority of it off here. Before we get it at the top, why does it take so long to type something? Okay, bang. Let's go.
Show him, Joey.
Man.
Show him, Joey.
Oh, my days.
Attaboy.
That was, I was sweating over here trying to have some good conversation, but, in the back of my head, I'm like, ooh, this is not good. And I said to Steve, I'm willing to get shut down on this trade.
That's okay.
So we were getting really aggressive.
Baby.
And this is kind of what I was talking about. You see Katina Man doing it, but it's like I'm always averaging somewhat up, and I'm never going below certain levels. So just keep that in mind. We'll take that one there. It's a really good trade for us. So now the average drops to 61.45. So that's going to give me a little bit more breathing room. We get into VWAP, then I think we'll be okay. Again, I mentioned I took off the 90% of the position. So I'm just rolling them with a little 10%er right here.
Attaboy, Joey. That's the kind of stuff we're so used to seeing you do, baby. I'm looking at my 5-second chart. I'm looking at punching back into IPDN. If it holds 7, great. If it doesn't, we're going to get out quick as you like. Let's see. It's holding 710-ish. It just lost a little bit of a level there. We got 16s on right now. It's got to hold 7. Nice breakout there on IPDN, but it does look like it might double top and fail 7. Let me throw in my order there at 688 just to give it a little bit of room. It does look like it will lose 7, though. Or right back up into 706, 707. So we'll see if this one can continue to hold the level. You don't want to get back too much on something that you're positive on, but you definitely don't want to miss opportunities as well. This one does look like it will lose 7, Joey, as like it's just knocking on the door there. It feels like maybe the shorts are in control or at the moment, or the longs are taking profits into the 7. Either way, it doesn't help my cause having punched in at 716, so we're about 16 pennies or so out of the money. Now tightening up a little bit. There we go, now popping back into 12s. Let's see if we can change trend over here and head to the high side. All right, now showing 17s, right into the high. Beautiful. We'll take out some more there. Showing me 25s. We've got 16s on. Let's put some in the mid-30s and some in the mid-40s to see if we can get that nice little price spike. This is a lower high though, so 733 area high. The prior high was in the mid-30s, so we are putting in a lower high. That's going to be my flattening out there. We'll take out that break even. Let's see if this one holds 7 again. We know that it held 7 last time. If it does hold 7 and pops back up, I think that that will be my opportunity. But the deal is it has lower highs. So I definitely have to be on the lookout for the shorts taking down the price at lower highs. So again, 740 prior area high. Then after that, it's a 732. And now we're zigging and zagging with that 20s. If we can make another area high above 733, that'll change trend for me, but we're not. We're actually rejecting that 20 penny area. So that's what I'll be keeping my eye on right there. Let's see if we can get back above that 733 if we can. I'm punching long again, Joey.
Oh, yeah. I love hearing that, my guy. So there it is. Also, OKTA, we took a scalp on that short right there. I was talking to my guy, Gorev. So what are we in there? 94, and then we pop out 93.60. So that's 50 cents. Boom. Off of that inverted hammer candle. I seen it bounce right off, and I'm like, let me hop out of this one there. So not too bad. I mentioned that I was just going to do a little scalp, and then we just executed that trade. So happy about that one. And then also now you can please buy Google up from VWAP. Yeah, I wish.
I love when people ask
that. I know. That's our boy, Gorev. Gorev, we would love to do that, man. If I had the ability to move that type of size and move an actual stock, that would be so wicked. I guess you can do it with small caps. Our guy Nimrod used to do that. Yeah, and we were like, yeah, whatever, brother. And then we actually met him. We're like, all right, you're probably not lying. But anyways, at the end of the day, so there it is. You're breaking through this trend. That's positive for you though, Gorev, right? So you have this price compression starting to form, and then now you're starting to breach this there. So that's pretty good. All I got to say is those $7 Snap shares were a gift. Yeah, let's pull up Snapchat one more time. What's your Snap score? I'm obviously being somewhat sarcastic on that one. I could
oh my goodness.
Tell him, man. Go ahead.
Oh wow, Joey, we punched back at 714 into 740, but we paper-handed the trade.
No.
Look at it. It didn't spend too much time at that 8, but look at that price spike. Right into 8, 795, drops all the way back down into 750. Oh my goodness. IPD freaking N gift that keeps on giving. Let's keep tabs on this one. We just made the new area high. Sorry to interrupt you, brother.
No, go ahead. So you Devin Haney that one there.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
Mr. Haney himself.
I know, I love him. What a good boxer he is.
We ready for 145, bro. Yeah, whatever. That's what his dad
He's
saying.
not ready for 120, bro.
He's fighting someone soon.
Yeah, I saw that.
Who's he going up against, I think? Someone? I don't know. Anybody in the chat, let me know.
I don't really watch his fights.
No, they're so boring. But, I mean, the kid's obviously making a lot of money. Yeah, exactly.
Apparently his dad's a good guy, though. Apparently his
dad's a clown.
What? I'm just saying who's that? Oh, yeah, Bud. He was telling Bud back in the day before anybody was talking about it that he should be fighting Canelo. So like Bud laughed at him apparently, according to the story that Devin was saying. Really, Bud laughed at his dad. Now look now full circle, right? He's actually fighting Canelo. So.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this Tank Paul fight. To be honest with you, I don't think it's a good look. It's like guy's 5'7", and then. Jake Paul's like 6'2" or something like that, 6'1", 6'2". And
you know how much Gervonta's making for that fight?
Yeah, it's like 10 million or something.
10? Yeah. Try 150 to 200 million.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what nobody knows exactly.
Yeah,
but that's what's being rumored.
But brother, I would take that fight too. At the end of the day,
you could tell he didn't want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to?
Exciting news for Canadian sophisticated traders. Beta Pro by Global X Canada has just launched 6 new triple leveraged ETFs offering 3 times bull and 3 times bear exposure to the S&P TSX 60, semiconductors, and U.S. Treasuries. If you're looking for even better, they're offering a special fee rebate, dropping management fees to just 65 basis points until December 31st, 2025. These ETFs also employ currency hedging to seek to neutralize U.S. dollar exposure, providing performance that may more accurately reflect the underlying U.S. indices. If you're a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca/3 times daily to learn more. Shout out to Beta Pro.
Shout out to Beta Pro and company. So yeah, there it is, guys. We're just steadily holding up there. We couldn't even get into view up, so I'm happy that I took that off there. Once I seen price stall, I want to see more aggression heading in that direction. We did snap a couple of trend lines, as you can see displayed here, so that's something extremely positive. So maybe you will get up in there, but I already took the majority of the position off just because I'm like, yeah, I got to allow some stress relief there and take some and lock in some profits because that's how you want to do. You want to end the month on a solid note, and I was willing to get shut down or do half decent on the trade. So there it is. Snapchat's starting to come back in there. Let's take a look at some of the top volume names. Also, if you guys have any option strategies that you're running right now, let me know. I'll be doing some stuff over the weekend, obviously, just grading some potential setups. Even though I am still in my ETH trade right now, so I can't be doing too much. And I'm sitting on zero cash. No, I'm sitting on zero cash from my long-term account too. Literally like zero. I'm full.
You've been doing that for a minute, though.
Yeah. That's
been doing that for a hot minute. Yeah.
If I like something, then just why not, right? Walls to the wall, essentially. I said walls. I didn't say the other one.
I don't think the other one is banned either. But,
okay. But you get the game. 136 million shares traded right there. TSL with 73.7 million, and then SOXL. So a lot of these leverage ETFs are leading the volume race. And who mentioned? Okay, no, Dara mentioned that there's a lot of ETFs out there. I'm starting to recognize more and more. Brother, you're giddy right now. Let me see what you got.
Joey freaking options. Man, this one just keeps on giving. Joseph IPDN is that gift. Another one. Into 750, Joey, we took it out into 785, so this one keeps on going. We got 300% in Greensville right now. It is still that same level, though, 795 high. If we can clear 8, I think we're going to squeeze aggressively. I haven't even looked at the daily to see what the technical areas of support and resistance are on the daily, but this one has been holding trend.
Oh, you've been rocking that all day.
Bro, it's been all morning, Joey. It's been all morning, right? Very few losses on this one, man. I think I had 1 L on this one, and we gave back very little. So we're going to keep doing it, man. Higher lows and higher highs, again, with that $8 resistance level that we're looking to clear here. So keep your eye on IPDN if you like these small cap gappers. If you don't, well, what can I tell you? I'm sorry, guys. I mean, but these are...
Get out of here.
Hey, these are the ones I trade. And, yeah, that's what we're doing. We're doing it freaking live, Joseph Options.
We're doing it live. Yes, we are. We take a little bit more off into that 75 right there. Bang, and we get another print on IBIT. Yeah, so that's what I got going on, man. We're just chilling here, having fun. It's been a good Friday so far. We're having a blast. I'm going to hit this one, Shree. It's a complete storm, and I can't wait to go home, toss the ball with Milo, and then cook up some steaks because that's just what I do, and we're going to relax and hit the gym. I didn't go this morning. Did you go this morning?
Today was the first day I took off.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to. I'm quite tired.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You got to take a rest day.
Yeah.
But now I've been on a heavy streak right now. 2-day yesterday, gym in the morning, hockey yesterday. We played a bunch of 18-year-old kids, and you got to think about it. Everybody on my team, and they're good. Like, these kids are highly skilled, better than we were when we were that age. But we're a bunch of like 35-year-old men, and these guys are running around the ice calling us old men, etc.
That's crazy.
So what happens? There's a couple guys on my team who have zero tolerance for the ignorance of these raging teenagers. And what happened? The gloves were dropped, and we had a nice little tilly there. So yeah, but we ended up losing that game anyway, so that sucks anyways. But those kids were really good. I'll give them credit. But at the end of the day, all that matters right now is this trade on IBIT. Multiple downtrends cracked, and then now we're starting to head towards VWAP. So, I mean, it is what it is. We took off what we said, and then, yeah, we're going to continue to climb. The Qs, I don't know if we get a big-time rebound, but you can see on multiple occasions, we've almost formed a triple bottom right here, so that's positive. Risk profile defined, but you obviously want to get in on the lower end of the range. I wouldn't necessarily be buying the top end of the range right here.
Joseph, look at this, bro. I just took another trade. And oh my goodness. Joseph, this is still going, bro. 849 now. We're 325% now, Assassino, or when? Oh, no problem. Okay, perfect. 1 minute. So 849 high, guys. We're dropping back down into 8. Yeah, this one is the one. This is the chosen one for the day. At least it is for now. It's not putting on the brakes quite yet. Into the quarter dollar we go. We've got 49 highs, as I mentioned. So essentially that $0.5 resistance, as you know, traders in the longs, like I'm just speaking for myself, but this is something I know other traders do as well. You'll never really put your profit taker at 50 pennies, right? Because it's unlikely to get filled. So you put it at 48, 49. That's why likely we have a 49 high. Let's see if this one wants to dip in a little bit more aggressively, though, into maybe a 7.5, something like that. We do have a resistance level into 7.5 from this topping tail candle right here. So it would be entirely feasible and okay for this one as a long. If it was to dip in to 7.5, it's a healthy pullback. Here comes 8. Let's see if this one continues to dip down into that 7.5 area. It looks like it might lose 8 right now. Assassino. You've seen Trade the Pool here with us for a while now, and now they have created something very specially just for you guys. A free ebook featuring 4 proven swing trading strategies from Trade the Pool's top funded traders. Inside, you'll see exactly how they approach the markets, how they manage the risk, and what setups they rely on so you can learn and grow from what actually works. If you're interested, and you should be, download it now by scanning the QR code on the screen or hitting Joseph, the link in the description. Shout out to the great folks at Trade the Pool, and shout out to Mitch Hoke. Good dude, good swing trader too, Joey Options. Here we go again.
Swing alert, swing alert, swing alert. Hold on, where is it?
Where is it?
Right there.
Show everybody, baby.
Swing alert, swing alert.
All right, so that's what I'm looking at right now, Joey. Show them what you're looking at.
Yeah, for sure. Same thing here. Let's take a look at BABA. This thing is living in its own world, continuously grinding higher. So let's take a look from this trough right here. Come on, you can do it. Yay. 15% on the day, Sharif. Wow. That is some big time moves. And essentially what's going on, you don't even get the VWAP retest. You bounce above it. So there's probably some moving averages along here, like the 9 or the 20 or something along those lines. And then sure enough, boom, put in a new high of the day. Now let's zoom out. Sharif and I were talking about this morning. And we're like, hey, what's going on with this? I'm like, dude, trend cracked, right? So you have the multiple touches here. You have the consolidation and the multiple holds of that trend line, nothing south of it. And then sure enough, boom, you're starting to climb higher. Massive gap up. And then now this key pivot is something that you want to keep an eye out for. Are you going to break it or not? But with this momentum, I think anything can happen. Now, as for Ethereum, not looking too bad either, guys. We'll pull this one up here. Let's head back in, zoom into the 5-minute. Excuse me, I just finished my fruit bowl. There it is. Nice indecision print right there. Oh, excuse me, sorry. So there it is, guys, nice 32.84 high. And if we look at this from a daily, this doesn't look too good now, does it? But if we get some more buying pressure up into this previous high, 35.33, what do you got? It's going.
You know, it's continuing to go, but I think we're gonna go to Adair for a second.
Axios reporting here that we have a CDC warning here. CDC reportedly warning of huge COVID spikes amidst their internal turmoil. We know there's been some turnaround with regards to the CDC mRNA spiking a bit on this. NVAX is another name to watch here, also perhaps Pfizer. But either way, again, keep an eye on some of these vaccine plays. It looks like the CDC is reportedly warning of a possible spike in COVID cases. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Adair. Keeping an eye here on IPDN as we're like a couple of shekels away from that area high. This is holding at that 40 to 30 penny area, and there it goes again. There's a new high, 8.55. This is on that good stuff right now. Keep your eye on the squeeze into 9. It feels like it might be a $10 kind of day. That's just kind of how it feels at the moment. If it goes there in a straight line or if it pulls back, possibly into a key area of technical support, who knows with these ones. But it's awfully volatile and squeezy to the high side. Again, 8.55 high. We're showing 42s right now. Let's see if we can pick up something maybe around that $8 area. I don't want to throw in random orders there. That's not the move here. Let's keep an eye out on this one. Seller at 45s. Let's just keep focusing on this because this is the one that, is making the moves. The other ones that really aren't. Let's see exactly where we are over here. Let's load up the 5-second chart. And this is what my 5-second chart looks like, guys. It's awfully dense. So you'll basically all the way over here, that's 11.52. So it's a whole lot of data. The reason I even look at this 5-second chart, excuse me, not 10, is just to see where the repeat levels are. So if there's a buying area where people keep stepping in, or a selling area where people keep stepping in, you want a visualization of that, right? You can you can basically see the same thing right now on the level 2, but it goes and comes, right? Here we go, another high of the day, Katina, man. This thing is all sorts of squeezy, 65 highs now. Oh my goodness, 89 highs now. This was really going. It does feel like we might get to 10 on this one, 354% and going more, 93 highs now. Let's see if we can squeeze into that $9 area. And if we do, is 9 just, you know, a milestone there for, or something that we're just going to stop on the way and pick up something at 10. So let's see what we get here at 90s. We're taking out some here at 90s. Again, into that low 90 area. Let's see if we can pick up some more at this area, picking up some more over here. Let's see. Okay, so we just took it out there. Let's drop back below my entry. Let's set up some now at prior bar high, which is 850. I'm going to front run that a little bit. Let's wait into the 60s, see if we can pick up something around there for an aggressive dip trade. So 358, 360% now. There's a buyer here at 88s, mid 80s. You can see that, thank you, Joey. You can see that buyer stepping in multiple times, 87s, 88s. That buyer keeps stepping in. Seller, though, at 90. Can't shake that seller. He's gone. All right, so here we go. Now a seller at 93 on IPDN. Where's this one headed? Let me just have a look here at the top screen. Not 95 high, but we are putting in higher lows. 99s now, 9. That is the new high. 366%, 902 now. Do we pull back a little bit here off 9s? We did that at 8. If you recall, we got into 8, sold off a little bit. Then obviously we made new highs. So keeping an eye on this one. Yeah, man, this one's just keeps going, Joe. Like, what the hell, bro? It's not even giving you a pullback.
Oh, 364%.
It's breaking through 9. We were trading this at 580 initially, so it's a 903 high. Oh, Yanks. Yanks, 1317, dropping cash money in the chat, baby. Shout out to Yanks. Thanks for IPDN tip. I've done great with it. Very happy to hear, my friend. And you're probably doing freaking better because there's a new high of the day, wow. 939, Joseph Wilson. Well, looks like we're going to squeeze here into 400%. Yeah, felt like a $10 kind of day on IPDN. This is all sorts of strong. But I said it once, said it 100 times, Joseph. What am I going to say?
It's not here for a long time. It's just here for a good time, man. That's it. Money. Hold on. Money, right. money. All right, yeah, speaking of that, speaking of money, here we go. Still cooking up in IPIT. How many names would I take? Oh, yeah, I took that Tesla short earlier this morning. We'll go back and touch on that and see what's up with TSLL. Uh-oh.
What happened?
There's someone calling me, but I'm not going to answer that one. We don't know who that is. Oh, you know what it might be for my MRI. It might be an MRI results.
See that Drake song?
Who's calling my phone?
Who's calling that?
Is it Keisha? Is it Stacy? Is it Nathan? Yeah. Who called my phone?
Thought you didn't like him, Madera?
Yeah.
I thought you didn't like new Drake.
I'm allowed to sing certain songs.
Oh, nobody said you're not allowed.
When they're played in the club.
Just saying, you said you didn't like new Drake.
Yeah, I generally don't like new Drake.
It then.
I happen to enjoy that one song. And I'm going to close the door like Powell.
Oh, I'll give you permission to sing.
She doesn't need permission, bro. She's going to sing anyway.
Is it Stacy? Okay, so yeah, as for Tesla, so that was a nice short continuous down 2.5% on the day. And I mentioned not too long ago that it essentially broke whatever that uptrend, that breakout, that little breakout that we had on Tesla.
Yes, sir.
It's AC Slater to that one there, Sharif. So yes, it's gone. Breakout, heading right back into the middle of the range. But one thing to note here is that you have these consistent higher lows, which is something positive that you can look out for. If it cracks the downside, then that's going to be some trouble. But in my humble opinion, I don't know how you feel about this, Sharif. I think the days of Tesla's EV supremacy have definitely cooled off and are maybe coming to an end. I don't know how you feel about that. Is that a hot take or what?
I don't know.
Okay.
Dude, hold on.
Yeah, go ahead. Do things.
We're in a position.
All right, man. Punch, man.
All right, here we go. We're doing it live. If it loses 50, we're going to flatten out. We got 60s on. I've already wet the beak a couple of times. It's holding generally that 60 area. Let's see if it pops up a little. Oh, my goodness. All right, good look. All right, here, 75 seller on IPDN. Can we shake them? I'm going to wait up here. There we go. We shook them. And there we go. So, right, nice, man. Very happy with the trading today on IPDN. Haven't been the biggest moves that I've taken, but the stock has done plenty of big moves. 989, high, Joey, 998. Here comes 10. All right, so there goes 1022, up 420%. Shout out to my man. 420 Bud Monster, get it, my man. All right, 1022 high a day, that's correction. 1024 high a day. This one keeps on going and going and going like the dang Energizer Bunny. Trade it carefully. Joey, what was your question?
As for Tesla's EV range, I think that it's starting to cool off and
no question about it. But everybody was gunning for that because they had an indefensible market share. Right, like that 80% market share or something. Like it was only going to go down. It couldn't really get much bigger.
One thing to note too that I was thinking is like, okay, yeah, BYD is just grabbing share, obviously in Europe aggressively, but they're relatively new, so you're going to see the growth substantially more than what you're going to experience in Tesla. But I mean, it sold 8,800 EVs across all of Europe last month. It's
insane.
It's not. No, I mean, as for Tesla, that's not good at all. It's not good whatsoever. So, but yeah. Anyways, enough of that. Curling over Q, starting to head back towards the volume weighted average price. Is this going to be a base? Ace of base right here, to see if you're going to run through this and then potentially break this downtrend and the volume weighted average price from a daily standpoint. I don't know if we get into that neck of the woods, but holding up relatively well, so we won't complain. Now, as for anything else, what are you guys looking at? Google, Gorv, we'll take a look at your Google right there to see if it is continuously grinding higher. I like this name. There it is. Okay, so nice price compression. I mentioned this before, but now you're running into this resistance zone and just continuously kind of rejecting that. So watch out for the lower end of the range, but you can possibly hold it for a higher low.
All right, Joey, it's 5 minutes after. We can start the news a little bit early today. I think we've got like 16 different news stories to go through, so there's quite a bit. So let's get right down to it. You good with that?
Yeah.
Adair, you good to go?
There's another way.
Okay, let's do this. So here we go. Let's start with the first one, MRVL. Oh, baby. Let me just make sure I'm canceling all my outstanding orders so nothing triggers Assassino while we're doing the news. So MRVL doubles down on AI and data center growth, but there are some good and some not so good items in this earnings report, so let's get right down to business. Adjusted EPS came in at 67 pennies, which beat the 66 by 1 penny, so a check on that bottom line. Revenue was in line with expectations on the quarter, coming in at 2.06 billion, but it was kind of at the lower end of the guide there. The guide was 1.957 to 2.163, so falling in a little bit on the lower end. The company obviously shifting its focus from traditional chip making into AI and data centers, and they've completed their $2.5 billion all-cash sale of its automotive Ethernet business, so they can do just that, focus on AI and data centers. Their data center revenue surged 69% year over year, now making up actually 74% of their total revenue, so it gives you the idea they are really trying to be almost a one-trick pony. CEO Matt Murphy emphasized the pivot towards that AI infrastructure push for the company, calling it the company's massive AI opportunity. Buddy, you might be a couple of years late, but better late than never. They did aggressively buy back shares, at least for them. Proceeds from the sale of that automotive Ethernet business will give MRVL the financial flexibility with plans to bolster the technology strategy that they have and continue their buyback program. Roughly $2.1 billion from the transaction is expected to be deployed towards share repurchases and future investments. So not earmarking all of that money for share buybacks to put back in the hands of shareholders, but you may get that value vis-a-vis the future investments. Now let's talk about the guide with respect to their Q3 outlook. Management flagged lumpiness in its custom silicone chip business with a sequential decline expected. So some weakness, at least in the short to intermediate term. CEO Murphy described delays as a timing issue tied, Joey, to large customer buildouts. He disagrees that it is structural weakness that's leading to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a smart strategic move right now, Sharif, considering that we're in the AI boom, building more data centers. I think that's going to be something positive for this name, but obviously that's going to come at an expense. So as with MRVL, a big time gap down, the street not liking what it's seeing, but again, that comes with when you have heavy capital expenditure, then sure enough, the market may sell you off at the end of the day. And guides are obviously extremely important as well, too.
Dara, what do you make of this report? Do they have anything to offer that some of these traditional chip makers don't?
Yeah, like you kind of implied there, I think they're a little bit behind the curve. I think, yeah, I mean, honestly, like from a trading perspective, this was pretty boring, as you can tell, unless you go out that continuation short off the open. But yeah, I mean, I think like the market doesn't seem super impressed. I don't think day traders are super impressed with this action. Yeah, sorry, I don't want to beat up on the company or anything, but this is just not a super inspiring report. And their guidance was a little mixed. I think I saw like a slight miss on revenue depending on what estimates you were looking at.
Yeah, it was on the lower end of the guide.
Not the best. Yeah.
Do you feel maybe that they're setting up for better days? Like he keeps saying, you know, future investments, we're kind of weaning off other segments and really focusing on AI. Is that an eggs all in one basket kind of risky approach, or is this what everybody's doing?
It just seems like all talk, honestly, until they actually like do anything about it. Then it's just talk. And you know how I feel about talk. You've heard my thoughts on Elon Musk.
Yeah, I know you're a very big proponent of Elon. Get it, Adair. All right, let's go on to the next one. China ramps up AI and chip development amid U.S. restrictions. What's happening over here, Joey? It looks like Alibaba is throwing their hat into the chip ring. They've launched a new AI chip, more versatile, according to the company, than the NVIDIA H20 for specifically the Chinese domestic market. It's positioning itself, Alibaba, that is, as a homegrown chip alternative to U.S. companies. Alibaba's cloud revenue did rise 6% year over year in Q2. We'll get to that in the next story where we go over Baba's earnings. But obviously there are restrictions from Washington on Beijing or on China in general. Washington's limited NVIDIA's AI chip exports to China, the H20, possibly the upcoming B30A. But for their part, the Chinese don't really look that interested in buying these en masse at the moment. Maybe the Chinese companies do, but certainly the Chinese regulator not really pushing for that. Despite the curbs, Chinese AI companies are accelerating their R&D with government support, obviously, to try to catch up in the AI chip race. And speaking of those companies, here are a few, just a few out of the many. Meta X is in Shanghai, built a chip that it claimed exceeded the H20 performance and is preparing for mass production. The name of the company is Meta X. Then you have Byron Technology. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. They posted a $217 million breakout quarter on strong AI chip demand, with shares soaring. I don't know if 18% year to date is soaring, but that's what this article wrote. Huawei, we already know about them and their AI Ascend chips, which, you know, really kind of a mixed review depending on who you speak to. According to reports, DeepSeek had to actually postpone their latest R3 model because the Ascend chips weren't up to snuff. So, conflicting reports. Speaking of Huawei, Huawei's Ascend 910B chip has become central to Chinese AI labs and cloud providers, with demand outstripping supply. Sure, I guess they're good for some things. Alibaba, Baidu, Tencent, ByteDance are all now major customers, Joseph, for these local AI chips, hedging against U.S. sanctions. But again, it's not just the U.S. sanctions that are putting the kind of the cap on Chinese AI.
Yeah.
It's their own regulator that is scared to buy these.
Yeah, but that's what I was just about to touch on as well, too. So I'm curious to see, even though, you have some of these emerging companies building in the chip space, what is going to happen with the Chinese regulators? And then what if they run into a scenario where, in the likes of with the Huawei chip, it doesn't really work for training and they can only use it for one specific thing? So what does that mean? Maybe they're going to be more dependent on the H20 or the lesser version of the GB. All right, so that's where I'm sitting on this one. I'm still curious.
Fair.
We're still in the early stages of some of these Chinese chips, and we don't know too much about them, but I wouldn't be surprised if they run into some issues like they did with the Huawei chip.
Adira, were you as surprised as me that Alibaba is throwing their hat into the ring? I mean, I didn't hear anything about Baba in the chip business.
Yeah, no, that's a little random. Again, at this point, it's a report, right, from Wall Street Journal, so we'll have to see how it all unfolds. But yeah, I think also the timing of this report, right, in tandem with Alibaba's earnings is, I think, a nice look for Baba. I'll put it that way. It is unfortunately not a great look for NVDA. But here's the thing, like, we already know that China doesn't want NVIDIA chips. So it's like a natural extension. They're going to try to get chips built in China. I don't think the story is that shocking. I think the Alibaba element maybe is.
Exactly.
But other than that, I'm not super surprised. And honestly, like NVIDIA, I guess you can't really do like what, the situation where to make a weird comparison with Tesla having a whole bunch of Norway sales to make up for their bad sales other places. I don't know if NVIDIA can find like another non-China market that really needs chips that the U.S. will allow them to sell. Who knows? But
Middle East,
right now, maybe it's a little dicier.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I was just saying the Middle East is definitely, we know about G40,
That would be
we
a
know
great
about the
place,
Saudis, et cetera. I'm sure there are others as well. Maybe Europe will finally catch up and finally get an AI company we're speaking about here, so they'll buy some chips. Let's go on to Alibaba beating, well, their earnings report. We'll talk about that. So their revenue came in at 247 and 2/3 billion yuan, which is about $36.4 billion, give or take. That was below expectations, so they missed on the top line. Their net income, though, 43.11 billion yuan, well above the 28.5 billion expected, and a 78% increase year over year. There's a reason that number is so high. It was boosted by an equity investment gain in Trendial disposal. Excluding that Trendial investment, net income would have actually declined 18% year over year. So that feels like a one-off line item that may not reoccur in the next quarter or next year. We'll have to keep an eye on that. The shares are up 40% year to date at the time of writing. Let me look at where they're at right now. Try 60%, 59.39%. Baba is up year to date. That's freaking amazing. And Futu, the best performing, I think, Chinese ADR, up 132% year to date. I think that's the Chinese brokerage, like an IB or a Hood.
But as we were talking, sorry to interrupt you. As we were talking earlier, yeah, it's great that Alibaba's up that well. But then you never know what's going to come out of China in your sleep, and then sure enough, the stock's
100%.
down 25%.
We know about the ADR risk,
right?
yeah.
Right. So it's just like the overnight risk is so huge because if you go to the daily, let's pull it up here.
Okay.
It's just gap up and gap down everywhere, right? Because you're.
But you know why the gaps are so much there because
the overnight, right? It's the overnight trading, right?
Exactly.
So you gotta wait for that. But that's what I'm getting at. You're still at risk of the overnight trading, regardless of how well it's performing. It's like, okay, Sharif, imagine you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go out long Alibaba here at 125. Boom. The next day you wake up 10 points lower, and then, oh, guess what? Yeah, haha. The next day you wake up another 20 points lower, and then you're just like, okay, I don't even really know what to do with this trade anymore.
Fair enough.
You've been stopped.
I respect that. Yeah, I've been there in Li Auto many times, my friend. That was really the only Chinese ADR I've ever really invested long-term in.
Li, you said?
Li Auto, yeah. Let's go on. Talk about their cloud and AI strength. We're still doing the Baba earnings. So their cloud revenue reached about 33.4 billion yuan, which is up 26% year over year and accelerating from the 18% year over year growth that they had last quarter. So good higher lows, higher highs, kind of if you're looking at it on a chart. Their AI-related product revenue as well delivered triple-digit growth for the 8th consecutive quarter. Good luck. Adjusted EBITDA in cloud rose 26% year over year, reinforcing, that unit as a profit driver for the company. But let's talk about their core business because e-commerce is kind of what I know Baba for, at least initially. Their core e-commerce revenue rose 10% year over year, up to 19.6 billion yuan, driven by 10% customer management revenue, certainly not growing as fast as cloud. I'm sure you guys can make that observation. Their quick commerce, meaning 1 hour delivery, revenue climbed 12% year over year, so growing faster than their core e-commerce business, up to 14.8 billion yuan. And their adjusted earnings in e-commerce, dropped 21% year over year, reflecting, though, Joey, the company saying heavy investment in the instant commerce wars. We know Temu, Shein, so many different local Chinese competitors compete with Baba, obviously, and they've got to up their game. But they seem to be doing better internationally, Joey. International e-commerce, 19% year over year bump with losses narrowing. So it doesn't look like they're quite profitable yet for their international e-commerce segment, but getting there.
Slowly starting to narrow those losses. The street will like that as well too, and we can see that displayed within its intraday price action. This name is still grinding higher. We just had the daily up. Well, now look at the intraday. The key pivot that I was referring to earlier. Guess what? Well, we breached that. Now we're trading up to 135.65. That's going to be almost a 20% day on the session, Sharif, 16.5. So it's a really, really good look. My thing is, are you going to continue in this strength come Tuesday morning when the American markets open back up again?
Well said, man. And that's something that I'm sure many people have been burned on with these ADRs, at least in the last 5 years.
Right.
Adira, does the slowdown in their e-commerce business, and cover this however you like, but just a slowdown as we see in their domestic e-commerce business, do they make up for that in cloud?
I mean, yeah, I think that is certainly notable, but it seems like they're already kind of trying to pivot as a company, right? So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Like, we know they really pushed that AI and cloud investment. especially if they are working on this reported chip, I actually think it's maybe a good look for the company. You know, they're realizing like, hey, this is what the people want right now. Now, do I think, you know, a company should change its business model every 2 seconds? Of course not. But I think in this case, it's probably a smart push for Alibaba. Like, I guess you can interpret this a couple ways, right? Like either they're emphasizing e-commerce less, so the revenue is dropping as a result, or, you know, they're already seeing this decline, they're going to focus on other avenues. Either way, I mean, I think clearly the market doesn't care. I think that the AI story is going to be a lot bigger right now across, like, across the market, across the world, but especially with regards to China. So I think that's why that matters.
Did you read anything about their Quen if you need to, let me know, because we're going to start on the next story.
Yeah, I'm good. No, I'm good.
Okay.
So Masayoshi Son, he didn't have, they don't have as big of a stake as what they did
Quotes there said almost zero.
Almost zero.
I'm sure.
Nothing substantial.
Yeah, I'm completely gone over here.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This thing's crazy. All right, we'll just let this one go. We're not trading anyway. Dell beats on Q2 earnings, but weak EPS guide weighs on shares. So let's talk about how they did. Dell adjusted EPS of 232.
Hold on, Schrafer. Apparently we're getting some mic issues here as well, too.
Mic muted. Assassino, am I muted?
No, the stream.
The stream. Okay, so it looks like it's just stream, guys. I think it might have something to do with the internet.
Audio is back.
Because are we good, Assassino, or no? Should we keep going? Or
a lot of people saying we're back, and a lot still saying
we can't hear. Problems with stream. Good now. We're back. Okay, refresh again. Okay, so we're good to go. Let's go on over here. You go ahead, Joey.
Yes, sir. VinFast delivered over 35,800 EVs in Q2 of 2025, marking a 172% jump from last year. That brings their first half total to more than 72,000 EVs and over 220% year over year. With stronger sales, usually in the second half, they're on pace to easily double 2024's 97,000 units. They're also crushing it on two-wheelers with nearly 70,000 e-scooters and bikes sold in Q2, up 432% from a year ago. And with gas-powered two-wheelers being phased out in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, by 2026, the growth potential looks huge. You can find them on the Nasdaq under VFS there, guys.
Like it, Joey. All right, let's go on here. So let's talk about Dell now. Adjusted EPS coming in at 232, better than 230 expected, on revenue of 29.78 billion, again ahead of the expectations of 29.17, and a nice bump year over year, almost 20% year over year increase on that revenue number. They did raise, their full year outlook up to $107 billion in revenue for the full year versus the 104.6 previous estimate, and about $9.55 in earnings per share, ahead of the midpoint of 938. Again, you know, sometimes you see the estimates different, really depending on where you got them from. But this is kind of where, you know, the good ends, because their EPS guidance, 10 pennies below expectations, 245. The street was looking for 255 on revenue of 27 billion, which is the midpoint versus that 26.1 billion that topped expectations. But the seasonality in the storage business kind of is one of the reasons here for the profit concentration, according to management. Let's talk about their different segments. They've got three ones they're going to talk about here: server and networking, which is really their AI focus. That revenue was $12.9 billion, just a little shy of 13, but up 69% year over year. That's driven by strong demand for their AI servers. Yes, they're very much competing with SMCI in that regard. Their storage revenue was $3.86 billion, and that was negative 3% year over year, and missed the expectations easily here of $4.1 billion. So a bit of a miss there. And their client solutions group, which is a euphemism for their PC division, what I used to know Dell for, that was $12.5 billion and a very anemic 1% year over year growth, showing slower growth than obviously infrastructure Let's talk about their AI ambitions, Joey Options. They shipped about $10 billion worth of AI servers over the past 2 quarters. They're targeting $20 billion in AI server shipments for the full year of 2026. So looking possibly to double up on that number. I know we haven't quite finished 2025 yet, but it'll certainly be higher, you have to assume. And about a $1.3 billion, Joey, on share buybacks and dividends.
Yeah. I mean, from a technical standpoint, doesn't look too horrible, but also we're getting a mixed bag here because TD Cowen is going to raise that target to $125, and then we also have Fox Advisors giving it the downgrade or equal weight as well too. So just keep that in mind. But one thing from a technical standpoint, guys, I really, really like this hammer. Gap down, and then you have this hammer candle right here with a large volume print. I think you might get a potential bounce here in Dell. And I remember back in the day, that's all it used to be. Dell dominated the PC space.
Goodness, yeah,
it had an insane amount of market share, but obviously they started to lose it to some other companies and all these new gaming computers, which they're not necessarily known for these days because everybody's constructing their own. But from right now, it doesn't look too bad. And as for the shipments that you're talking about, 20 billion, that's pretty good in my opinion.
That's not bad, right? I don't know what SMCI ships, so we have to make that comparison.
Well, I'm pretty sure SMCI is having some more legal troubles, aren't they?
There was something in it today. I'm not talking about that. I just meant relatively revenue speaking like what the comps are. Adara, this was a mixed report.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, even with like the beats that we did have, especially with EPS, it was pretty narrow. Like I know some sources that I use on X that actually wouldn't even consider that a beat. They consider it in line with regards to their earnings per share this quarter. So with that context in mind, I think the move down makes a little bit more sense. But I mean, Dell's had, it's had quite the journey, right? It went private for a bit, went public again in 2018, just rejoined the S&P 500 last year. So again, you can check out all these infographics on X at TTV Research, but sometimes I like to go back, provide a little bit more context for these stories. I mean, as you can see here, the revenue journey over the last, 8 or 9 fiscal years can best be described as flat. So I think, anything that isn't a year-over-year decline is probably pretty good. As you can see, there was a decline there in 2023. So yeah, I mean, I think any kind of, year-over-year growth in 2025 would be best case scenario. That being said, this report was not ideal, though the guidance for the fiscal year was actually not bad, so maybe that can balance things out a bit.
Yeah, we'll see if they can shore up costs. It seems like that's what's keeping them down a little bit there, Dara. Thank you for that look. Let's talk about one of their competitors and a story Joey just prefaced there. Super Micro faces financial disclosure issues amid AI growth. So what's the beef this time with the company? So Super Micro disclosed internal control issues in its June 30th, 2025 annual SEC filing. As we know, they missed their August 2024 deadline for its annual filing of the report, prompting an auditor, Ernst & Young, to resign. Statements were later submitted. It was a whole thing. We covered it ad nauseum on the show. The company began their remediation efforts, but warned no guarantees that they will prevent or resolve the weaknesses. Yeah, that sounds very reassuring. Shout out to them. Weaker quarter, we know that they reported on August 6th, I believe, and the report wasn't that good. Revenue missed. Adjusted EPS also missed. A slight miss for that part. Despite the financial turbulence, though, Joey, the stock is still up, at least it was at the time of the writing of this article, 44%. I'm looking right now at SMCI. It is up 37.17%, fueled obviously by AI servers demand. A very close partnership with...
Are you sure, brother?
The SMCI?
Yeah.
37% year to date.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying on the day. I don't know, man.
Down 5. Yeah. That's why it's off board for a little bit. Yeah.
It's definitely off 5. No, I mean, these guys had troubles with their earnings reports before. They're either late or they're just not releasing them, and they get themselves into trouble. So as for SMCI, if you have those issues, and I know Kramer's a fan of SMCI, says it's ran by some great individuals, but at the end of the day, if you're late to your earnings report or you just decide not to report at all, I don't know how much I like that as a shareholder.
I mean, it does feel, it is a year ago now that this was, they missed it, right?
But even so, people don't forget, brother.
People don't forget.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Shout out, I saw that movie I told you a couple weeks ago. Adara, Give us your perspective. I don't even know how to approach this.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to find my fun little infographic showing its wild year in 2024 when it was both added to and removed from the Nasdaq in 1 year. Literally, I think in actually less than 6 months. But all that aside, and that will be reposted. Check this out on X at TTV Research. Once I locate it, unfortunately, I cannot find it in time to put it on the screen here. But all that aside, I mean, yeah, it's crazy. Literally, this week, last year, I believe it was on the Wednesday, we had that news. The day before, Hindenburg released a short report on SMCI, and we know that was actually one of the last short reports that Hindenburg was really trying to get out before eventually shuttering its doors in early 2025, right? So pretty significant there with regards to the SMCI situation. Yeah, I think, like, honestly, unfortunately, this is not a new story. It isn't even surprising anymore when SMCI has accounting issues. Generally, if SMCI gaps down or has some move lower, this is the assumption that I make, and maybe that is incorrect. But in this case, obviously, it wasn't. Long story short, I think they need to, like, get some kind of real changes here. They need to start with the man in the mirror and just change things around. We already thought they had that accounting sorted out. I guess the new auditor, maybe should step things up a bit, because if you're still having these issues resulting from last year's report, that's a little bit concerning, and I think this is probably going to continue to be a headwind.
Do you think possibly, because remember NVIDIA reported and they were saying that GB200, the Blackwell, oversubscribed, now accounts for 70 some odd % of their revenue, their data center revenue, Does the fact that, SMCI offered these liquid cooled servers and, their little spin on it, does that move the needle here? What I'm trying to say is there's a new NVIDIA product that's, a new product cycle. Does that benefit SMCI in your opinion?
I mean, I don't know. I think SMCI is very different from other tip stocks because a lot of these will have, they generally have positive catalysts. They'll generally report earnings on time. And normally, I think SMCI, unfortunately, because of its epic rise and fall in 2024 and the accounting issues later in 2024, I just think its reputation has, unfortunately...
That's fair.
It precedes it now, and I don't think its reputation is necessarily for chips, or I guess for the cooling situation as much as it should be.
Fair enough. All right, let's go on to the next story. Solana, Katina, man. Solana... Told me to wake him up at 500. Yeah. Might be a couple of months. Solana gained 4%. This is from yesterday. So obviously Solana's down. Is it? Solana is down today 2 2/3, but it was up 4%. To crypto's size as cap, because they don't have any capitalization, because they're not made up of anything. He wants us to call it market size. Market size. Okay,
we got to listen to what
outperforming large market size cryptos. The price broke past February's resistance, hitting a new high of 216. The open interest Joseph options in Solana futures surged 10% to about 13.95 billion, reflecting what people are calling a renewed bullish momentum. Let's talk about the potential for new all-time highs. Katina, man, doesn't want me to wake him up till 500, but you got this Ali Martinez guy. He's a crypto analyst, and he's highlighting Solana's breakout from an ascending triangle pattern, aka a flat top break, projecting a $300 target, according to him, which would surpass the prior all-time highs. This pattern signals a bullish continuation. We used to cover that on the midday lessons. Continuation patterns, reversal patterns, all that good stuff. Let's talk about their DeFi development. DFDV, they purchased about 250,000 Solanas, worth about 77 million, raising their holdings to about 1.83 million Solanas. So it's not just ETH and crypto and Bitcoin that people are hoarding in treasuries. It is Solana as well. A purchase is from a recent equity raise with more than $40 million in net proceeds still available. And the corporates, Joseph, collectively hold 8.6 million Solana, worth about 1.87 billion, showing, that growing adoption of Solana as a treasury reserve asset. And now we know that major shareholders include Sharps Technology, Upexi, and DFDV, institutional buys, Joseph options.
Yeah. Just to add to that point, so it's weird. Sharps Technology announced raising over $400 million to implement a digital treasury strategy with Solana as its primary asset. So yeah, and there's your wedge that you were talking about not too long ago, and you can see it as well here too, Sharif. You're breaking through it, coming back into the range. But the thing is, all we hear a lot about is Ethereum and Bitcoin. What I don't think a lot of people are informed. Again, what I found out is that a lot of what we're moving, so project crypto, etc., some of it's going to go on the Solana blockchain as well too. So that's something positive. Yeah. If you're gonna tokenize a lot of these equities, you're most likely going to use either Solana or Ethereum. Ethereum being the dominant one, right. But there will be other tokens. So when other companies like JPM's doing a part of their stablecoin, I believe, on the Solana blockchain. Majority of it's going to be on the Ethereum network, and same with other names. I believe Amazon was working on a token as well too, a stable coin that's going to be put on the Solana network. So there it is. You have another name that isn't as talked about, but gaining more popularity.
All right, I'm hearing from you guys that IPDM is going buck. In that same area, 1084 high a day. So keep your eye on it. It still hasn't given up the ghost whatsoever. In fact, it's up 425% and going. Adara, Solana, interesting look. You know, you can make the argument it's been outperforming Bitcoin and ETH the past little while. Does it continue?
I mean, yeah, I did actually make the argument that it's outperforming ETH and Bitcoin on the crypto segment at 11:30 a.m. So I fully do agree with that assessment. Now, I think one thing, too, that could be potentially a little bit bullish for Solana is the fact that we're hopefully getting some of these new ETFs. I mentioned earlier an ETF analyst had gone on X and posted a screenshot. 92 crypto ETFs are currently waiting approval. 7 of those are, at least 7 are for Solana. So Solana is the largest, I guess, component there. This is just STSS. It's one of the many small caps with a crypto treasury holding. In this case, theirs is for Solana. So yeah, I mean, I think in general, there's a lot of crypto hype right now with regards to treasuries. I think Solana could stand to benefit from that. I think technically it looks good right now. Let's see if these ETFs get approved, though. That could be exciting.
You punching in, Adara?
I mean, I don't know. Again, I want to clarify this. I'm not a crypto bear, but it's something I want to understand a little bit more about before getting involved. And I think also just the idea of how wildly it moves and that it can move at any hour of the night.
Exactly.
I think is kind of like, I don't know how I feel about that. That's kind of how I feel about how most people feel about Chinese ADRs. I feel like I have a little of that about crypto. I consider an ETF if I like the technicals, but we'll have to wait and see on that.
Adara, you're a crypto bear?
I said I'm not a crypto
she's not a crypto
bear. Because I feel like I want to clarify that. I have no issue with crypto. I just don't want to get involved in something I don't feel like I understand well enough.
Fair.
Okay, I mean, you've covered the Genius Act, the Clarity Act for some time now. How much more are you looking for?
Well, no, I just mean like this is. I am risk on in some ways intraday, but I feel like holding that overnight. Yeah, that's not the vibe for me.
How about if everything's tokenized and you have 24-hour trading? Would that be a little bit more attractive?
It's 24-hour right now, bro.
Like,
no, but I'm saying, she's saying from an ETF standpoint, if you have the ability to trade these from 24 hours.
I mean, honestly, once things go 24 hours, I don't even know if I feel comfortable with ETFs. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm gonna be really real. Like the whole 24-hour thing in general, I have qualms about, but.
Yeah, it creates definitely more room for volatility. Well said, Adara. Let's go on to the next story. Joseph Sentinel-1S surges on strong Q2 earnings and annual recurring revenue milestone. Let's get to it. Q2 earnings came in at $242.18 million. That's just narrowly beating, though, guys. 242.17. So barely beating that consensus estimate with EPS of a loss of 4 pennies per share, but that was better than the loss of 5 pennies per share. So, albeit a beat on the top and bottom line, but not that much. 4 consecutive quarters, though, guys, earnings beats. So that's not too bad. I was going to make a joke, but it's about a different company. Let's talk about their growth in ARR and their customers. So the annualized recurring revenue. $1 billion, up 24% year over year as of the 31st of last month, with customer ARR under $100,000 now grew 23% year over year, with about 1,500 signings, signaling stronger enterprise adoption. Management of the company emphasized platform adoption across AI, data, cloud, endpoint security. Again, we're seeing a lot more of this platformization-like strategy that PanDub has been talking a whole lot about. You're seeing a lot of companies want to kind of ensconce you in to their network, into their ecosystem there, which makes a whole lot of sense because it's more revenue for them. Let's talk about the balance sheet and the guidance that they gave in their earnings report. The company ended the quarter, Jody, with $1.2 billion in cash equivalents, and investments, and their Q3 outlook for revenue is between $256 million to $254.3 million. So mid 250s. Let's go with that with their full year 2026 revenue guidance. Almost at $1 billion now on the year, 996 million up to 1.002 billion, up from the prior guide of 980 to 998. So everything hunky dang dory there. With the CEO Tom Weingarten highlighting the strength in AI-powered platform momentum, helping Joey differentiate SentinelOne from other competitors. But we know there are many competitors in this space, my friend.
Yeah, there is. I know you like your PanW.
I like Crowd. I'm not invested, but I think it's a good one.
Yeah, I think Crowd's a good one, obviously. I think those are the top two in my opinion.
And Zscaler.
Zscaler is really, really good. I don't know, are we going to put SentinelOne at the lower end of that spectrum? I think so, in my opinion. I can't even pull up the chart here because it's not allowing me to. So
I'll do it.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate. But I mean, cybersecurity.
Here you go, Joey. What do you want, daily?
Yeah, I was wanting to see what the daily was up to. And then there you go, right? So
it's definitely
we're definitely going to put it at the lower end of that kind of that class. But there we have the PanWs, we have the CrowdStrikes who've been putting in pretty good years, and then you have SentinelOne who's essentially doing nothing. So that's not something that I would want to be invested in.
Agree. Dara, what's your take on this report? I mean, the company is up 5% on the day when most other competitors are a little bit down. What's the look?
Yeah, I was going to say, too, a lot of these cybersecurity names, at least initially, sold off on earnings. So SentinelOne actually held up well compared to its competitors. Zscaler, though, actually reporting on Tuesday after the bell. That'll be pretty interesting. That's one that's going to be volatile as well. Yeah, the cybersecurity names always kind of reporting a little bit later. Yeah, I mean, I think the AI-powered platform momentum is just the CEO's way of trying to remind everybody, hey, AI, we said the buzzword. So that's my takeaway from that. I think the annualized recurring revenue, that's a metric people care about. I think that growth is pretty solid. We'll wait and see. I mean, yeah, I need to add both Zscaler and SentinelOne to my little cybersecurity infographic. But yeah, as you can see, there are quite a lot of these. Generally, their revenue trends higher. So yeah, solid look here, I guess, for the SentinelOne report. It's a fine report. I don't have too much to say either way. Go SentinelOne. Yeah,
why not? All right, let's go on to a story I know you'll like for a fact. Celsius expanding partnership with PepsiCo via a Rockstar acquisition. So there's a whole bunch of convoluted, I'm controlling this in this area and you're controlling that, so let's get right down to it. Celsius is a, so we'll pause for a second,
Joey.
Joey.
Ready?
Yeah.
In Africa, a new generation of leaders is rising. The woman boss empowers them. We provide the training and mentorship women and girls need to start businesses, creating change and build sustainable futures. We've already impacted over 10,000 lives. Your contribution creates the next opportunity. Scan the QR code, empower the next woman leader today. Before we hop in there,
cover that. You want to cover that?
Chat.
Yeah, thank you, Joey.
Guys, where do you see some support on bull? Let's see if I can pull this up here without my charts absolutely losing their hair.
What?
Well, losing their ish is what I was going to say.
Got it, Joey.
Support, let's pull this up from a daily. I thought that would be a good level, but it doesn't look to be the case. And then sure enough, probably down to $11 is probably where you're going to see that next level of support, unfortunately. In this name, maybe even a little bit lower, $9.50. But yeah, that's what I'd be looking for, those specific levels to hold right there, considering this is so tough, man. What a brutal rug pull, almost essentially. 82% off of those the second or a couple days after its IPO or whatever it did there. So,
yeah, it was an IPO. Yeah.
So
all right.
Really bad luck.
Okay. Celsius is acquiring the Rockstar Energy brand in the United States and Canada. They're acquiring it from PepsiCo as a part of an expanded partnership between the two companies. PepsiCo will continue to own and operate Rockstar internationally, while Celsius will manage it in North America. So splitting up control. Celsius will become PepsiCo's lead energy drink partner in the United States, overseeing Celsius, Alani Nu, and the Rockstar Energy brand. So a bit of a collab there. Pepsi also increased their stake in Celsius. So they acquired about $585 million in newly issued, not previous, newly issued, so diluting the pool, a newly issued convertible 5% preferred Celsius stock, raising its stake to about 11% ownership. This builds on PepsiCo's prior $550 million investment in Celsius back in 2022, showing that deepening alignment between the two companies. PepsiCo will also nominate an additional director onto the board for Celsius, so not just an equity investment, but also looking to keep control there through the board, or exercise some control through the board. Let's talk about their distribution and brand integration. Celsius's Alani Nu brand will move into the PepsiCo US-Canada distribution system, expanding their reach. PepsiCo will handle distribution of Celsius beverages, Joey, in North America and leverage its scale, obviously, with a lot of trucks. Celsius gains strategic control over Rockstar's US and Canada operation, boosting its competitive positioning against Monster and Red Bull. You kind of feel that this, let's just call it expansion of the strategic partnership, is to hurt Red Bull and hurt Monster to outcompete them.
Well, considering the share that Red Bull has, right? And I don't know how popular Monster is, but I know in the earlier 2000s, it was big. It was big. It was definitely the bigger one. Celsius, I don't remember this name back in the day, but obviously starting to gain some ground. And if you look at from the tariff tantrum, essentially non-affected. The stock wasn't hindered whatsoever, up 204% from February, but this is the April low, Sharif, and then nothing happened. The stock traded sideways while the rest of the market was tanking, so that's something positive. But again, Red Bull, I'm not a big caffeine drinker, so for me personally, but I just know that Red Bull and Monster had so much share for an extended period of time, and then sure enough, now you're seeing Celsius team up with Rockstar Energy Drinks, which is another big name as well, too.
All right, Adira, I know you have thoughts. Let's hear them.
Actually, I compiled a quick visual presentation for everybody, so I'm going to go through this. Rockstar, in my opinion, who's Red Bull? I don't know Red Bull. I don't know Monster. When I was an energy drink
Keep it down,
consumer, which I was for a time, we have now moved on to natural. But either way, Rockstar, very excellent. I think that, Celsius having more Rockstar is a great sign. I also think another brand that Celsius already previously thinks is going to be a great look for it is Alani Nu. And Ram, you could not be upset because I know you like this one as well. Alani Nu, I think that was a pretty recent acquisition there for Celsius. I think this one is solid as well. I want to say the point I'm trying to make here is these recent acquisitions could be a really nice distraction for Celsius because Celsius drinks themselves are not that good.
Really?
They taste like water with probably some caffeine in there. I have never been compelled to drink them. I don't care. So I think that, having these new, emphasis there, or Alani Nu emphasis, to make a pun, on that acquisition, on the Rockstar. I mean, obviously, Pepsi wants to have more control. We talked about the potential takeover, but I actually think this is a good look for Celsius's brand image as well, because, having that Rockstar takeover, I want to see what they do with Rockstar and Alani Nu now that we know they're in charge of the branding. I'm very curious. I will be following this, and, Celsius are going to make it hard for me to keep with my resolution to not drink energy drinks.
I got two questions. Before you go. First of all, what's the difference between a natural energy drink and a regular one? And then second, I forgot my other question there. So maybe answer that one.
The natural ones taste like a little bit earthier, but I'm a matcha drinker anyway, so I have no problem with that. Honestly, I don't know I think the difference is the type of caffeine. I know Ramin and I have talked about this before. It's like how they do it. It says natural caffeine on the can.
Right.
The ingredients are going to be more natural. That's really the difference there. I always drink like sugar-free anyway, so that's not different, but it's just, the natural element.
I can't remember the other one. Thank you, Adira, for that.
Let me know.
I will. All right, let's go on to Webull, because Joey was just crapping all over this. So let's talk about how they did. Revenue, $131.5 million. That was 46% year-over-year bump on that top line number, and that beats Q1's 117.4. So good quarter-over-quarter sequential growth, and their trading-related revenue. This is not surprising. With the market, 63% year-over-year bump in trading-related revenue, with options contract, Joey options, up only 8%. You think that would be a bigger number there, given their trading-related revenue was up 63, but not so. But that's $127 million, and equity notional volume up 58% year-over-year, up to $161 billion. EPS for profitability came in at 5 pennies, improving from a 6 penny loss earlier this year when they were actually negative. So nice to see that they're actually profitable. The customer assets did hit an all-time high, Joey, at a little shy than $16 billion, which is about a 64% year-over-year increase on that number. So pretty much a good look from these numbers. Let's talk about their user growth and engagement. Funded accounts, they have about 4.75 million, give or take. Funded accounts now, which is a 9% year-over-year increase. total registered users, though. So big difference there. Look at that. Total registered users, about 25 million, but only 4.75 million actually funded their accounts. Despite that, it's an 18% year-over-year bump, reflecting expanded retail adoption. And the CEO, Anthony Denier, noted retail trading environment is the strongest he's seen since the pandemic. Not surprised with that, given the state of the market. Their crypto segment, let's talk about that. They relaunched crypto trading in Brazil back in June and in the United States in August, allowing stocks, options, and crypto trading on the same platform. Their ongoing strategy is focused, though, on global expansion and product diversification. Just before we hear what Joey Options has to say, we're going to pause for a second, go to Adair with breaking news.
Yes, sir, guys, I have to mention Kraft Heinz here. KHC on watch. Wall Street Journal reporting that the company will be nearing their breakup announcement. They could be announcing their breakup as soon as next week. In case you missed it, this has been previously reported that Kraft Heinz is looking to, separate their business. Wall Street Journal reporting that the announcement related to the separation could happen as soon as next week. Back to you.
For that, yeah, Katina Man telling me he's still holding AMD short, by the way, as the market gets into those day lows. So keep an eye out on that. Joey, you showed the chart. The chart doesn't look good.
No,
there can't be an argument with that. What do you think about the report?
You know what? I'm just going over it. I'm looking at the growth, right? So related revenue 63%, but options contracts 8%. That sucks. When you have a company like Robinhood, where the options activity is up over 100% on a year-to-year basis, and then you have IBKR also racking in a bunch of cash from transactions and more margined accounts, and then also in just user activity across the platform. The numbers that I'm seeing on Webull are not overly impressive, considering, I get it, CoinSquare, they weren't the best. We didn't have the great numbers, but they're a one-trick pony. When you have the likes of Robinhood that is just literally in every faction of the company is continuously growing, and you don't see that in the likes of Webull, it's going to be a lower end brokerage and a trading platform, in my opinion.
I agree. Adira, do you agree with Joseph's assessment there? Trading related revenue surges 63%, but options contracts are really only for revenue only up 8%, and the funded account, Adira, they've got 4.73 million funded accounts, but they have almost 25 million registered users, meaning the great majority of people are not funding their accounts. This is good?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know how to interpret that number. I mean, people use Webull for different reasons, right? Like Webull, for example, I'll use it sometimes just to look at charts on a smaller time frame, right? So I think depending on the purpose,
fair.
Joe, I agree with you to an extent that they are a one-trick pony, but I also think that they're not if you consider the charting aspect. So I think it depends on what you're using it for. And
Coin is a one-trick pony, not
Coin? Oh, sorry,
Coin.
Yeah, either way, I mean, I think with Bull, when you consider the charting aspect, I think that's a pretty good look. Obviously, right now, traders are saying we bear, but I think the growth on this, with revenue, with the trading-related revenue, even the option contract growth, it's not bad, 8% year over year. I don't have comparables, so I can't really compare it to other metrics. But yeah, I mean, I think it's not a bad look there for Webull across the board. Traders, or I guess investors, whatever, not liking the look today, but it could certainly be worse.
Shout out to WeBear.
I mean, the reports aren't hoping. It's growing, but not at the rate where we know the retail trader is getting more involved in the market from a day-to-day basis, as we were talking about. So it's where are these retail traders going at the end of the day? And it seems like they're funneling into the brokerages like Robinhood and IBKR. And
but I have to echo Adair's sentiment on that usage thing, because when I started on the floor here, one of the platforms I was using to get some data, because they were giving out free data at the time. I don't know if it's still the case.
Sure.
But
No, people still use it. I'm not saying it's a horrible platform.
I'm just answering my own question here, why there's so many registered users and they're not funded.
Exactly, right? So, well, I think the funded account maybe is them giving no, it's not.
It's just like people
it's just literally putting their money.
Yeah.
So I'm referring to a funded account as you would see in the likes of Trade the Pool.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
No,
you don't think it's that? All right.
I don't think so. I'm not 100% sure, but it doesn't strike me as that right away. You might be right. Let's go on to Gap, highlighting brand momentum amid tariff headwinds. Where's Gap at right now? Let me just flip my chart. Allow me a second, guys. All right, not bad, 2.25%. So Gap posted mixed Q2 results with a slight revenue miss and shares falling in extended trading, but it's up 2.25%, as I mentioned. The company warned tariff-related costs will now total about $150 to $175 million. It doesn't say if that's on the quarter or on the year. That's up from the prior estimate of $100 to $150 million, so costing the company more than anticipated. We'll get to that in a second. Despite the cost pressures, Gap achieved another quarter of positive comparable sales, reflecting the improved execution. Again, comparable sales are sales of the stores that have been open for a year, and we compare it how they did last year. Let's talk about that tariff impact and their mitigation plans. The CEO, Richard Dixon, emphasized mitigation strategies in sourcing, manufacturing, and assortment to offset tariff impacts. That typically means they are getting a lot of their clothing from high tariff jurisdictions. We know that to be China. We know possibly India now, the 50% tariff. Southeast Asia, a lot of these countries also have higher tariffs. So we'll have to see how they mitigate that. They go on to say, though, that tariffs will remain the biggest profitability headwinds for the full year 2025. They didn't mention 26, at least in this article. Let's talk about that marketing and brand engagement. So they were trying to respond to American Eagle with that Sydney Sweeney ad by dropping their own ad here. Ketse and Kelsis milkshake. It was basically a denim ad, and it did quite well on TikTok and other platforms. Gap leaned heavily on social media and these advertising campaigns, which are driving, according to the company, the user engagement here. But there's a hidden gem, apparently, here, according to management and analysts. Within the Gap family of stores, we know Old Navy, what's it called? Gap, Banana Republic, and there's one more. I know they have an athletic one, but I forget the name. Maybe the chat can fact check me. Banana Republic is the one I'm talking about. They delivered a standout quarter with comparable sales over 4% year over year versus the estimate of 0.2%. So easily exceeding that. CEO labeled Banana Republic as a sleeper in the portfolio, citing tighter assortments, refined product aesthetics, stronger marketing, and improved fit and function.
Athleta, is that?
Athleta, that's it. Thank you. Appreciate you, brother.
Shout out.
Yeah, so that's I know they have a few divisions there, Joey. You know, sold off initially, Joseph, but it's up 2.25 now.
I mean, it received a price target, a lowered price target this morning to $24, I believe, by TD Cowen. But at the end of the day, from a retail standpoint, Sharif, we've seen in the likes of Lululemon's chart, we've seen what Nike's chart's looking like. This isn't too horrible. But I'm going to be honest, I've never shopped at Banana Republic in my life.
No?
And no, I've never.
I got a couple of things from there.
Banana Republics? Yeah.
Nothing
Remember
major.
French Connection? Did
Of
you
course.
ever shop there?
Yeah,
whatever happened to
FC, UK or whatever.
Yeah. Whatever happened to them, man? I used to have a lot of.
I see them at Winners.
Do they have some French
Winners,
Connection stuff there? But anyways, from a technical standpoint, guys, it's not great, but it's not horrible either when you go across the board and look at some of the other kind of retail names here. Lululemon is just an absolute dumpster fire. And then also Nike as well. Not too bad and big time recovery, but it's positive to seeing it holding up around these specific levels here. That's pretty good, I think, for some of these retail names.
Okay, so according to Perplexity, and again, hallucinations are a real thing. They source, Gap, as a company, sources the majority of its clothing from Vietnam, Bangladesh, China, and India. At least 3 of those are very high tariff jurisdictions. I don't know about Bangladesh quite yet. I'll have to do more of a look into that. But Adara, this was sold off initially and bouncing back up now. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, what I think about it is, like, a lot of these stories today, it's kind of what we expected, right? We know SMCI is going to have some accounting issues. We know that tariffs are going to be a concern for retail. And I think that is just, as expected. Now, I think one issue, too, with all the tariffs placed on every location, we know Apple ran into this issue, you really have nowhere to run and nowhere to hide, right? So, like, let's say, as we talked about, India has tariff issues now. Well, if you were trying to use India as a tariff safe haven, now you got it, tough. You got to deal with something else, right? So I think that's a little bit difficult, just the sheer amount of tariffs being put forward and, I guess, the vast locations of these tariffs. I think retailers will continue to struggle, so I think that's going to be probably an ongoing headwind until and if these tariffs are ever removed.
Respect. All right. So here I did a quick look. Again, Perplexity could be hallucinating, but Vietnam has 20% tariffs, and if you transship through Vietnam, they're 40. We know what transshipments are. coming from China, stops in Vietnam, gets relabeled, sent to the United States, you're going to get slapped with an extra 20. Bangladesh, 20%. We know China is 51, but we don't know where that's going to be because they're currently in negotiations. And then India, we know now it's between 25 to 50, depending on what kind of a good you are. We talked about this a few days ago. Donald Trump on Wednesday increased it to 50% for certain goods. It's not everything, but it does cover quite a bit. So those are larger numbers because we've seen that base rate of 15. So at least two of them are substantially higher. Let's go on to the next story. Okay, fine. We brought this story to you yesterday, but we brought it to you from a different angle. So YouTube and YouTube and Fox were beefing each other as a result of Fox asking for too much in the way of money from YouTube TV to be on their system. YouTube said, they're way higher than their other partners. For their part, Fox said, look, we have all these sports and we want a premium. So they struck a deal to extend the temporary truce, so to speak. Now they've actually struck a deal. So let's go on to that. YouTube and Fox reached a new distribution deal to keep Fox News, Fox Sports, and Fox Broadcasting Network on YouTube TV. It comes after a short-term extension earlier in the week that temporarily avoided the disruptions. The financial terms, though, were not disclosed. The YouTube previously said Fox had been asking for far higher payments compared to its peers. Again, Fox responds to that saying, I got sports, baby. Sports coverage is protected. So if you're worried that you're going to lose out on MLB playoffs or the World Series or the NFL, you needn't worry if you're a YouTube TV subscriber. And there's about 9.4 million of you. You're not going to miss that Texas-Ohio State game either. And you also ensure the NFL season starting in September and the MLB games, as I mentioned, in the World Series. Fox streaming, though, Joey, they've got ambitions, baby. Tensions rose after Fox launched Fox One, a standalone streaming service priced at about $20 a month or $200 a year, seen as Fox's attempt to strengthen their direct-to-consumer offering while negotiating, that higher distribution fee with YouTube TV and other carriers who hold their platform. Joey.
Well, I think a lot with the streaming wars, it had to do with, I remember a year or so ago, Sharif, it's like, what was the best show that you could get on your platform that's going to attract as many eyes as possible?
Watch.
Well, no, that was the question, right? So it's like, who has the best pipeline of shows, right? Like on Netflix, you have the Wednesdays, the Squid Games, etc. But now I believe that shifted to sports. Who can have the most sports? Who can have the best games? And who's going to pay the most amount of money for these sports events? So that's how I'm looking at it. It's good that YouTube locked this in because someone would just come and grab it in the likes of Netflix or Amazon.
Can you blame Fox and all the other carriers for doing that? Because the actual leagues themselves keep boosting the price. Boys, Neil, I know Sean's got his headphones on. What did the NBA charge lately again? What wasn't it ridiculous? It was like $5 billion or some stupid number like that.
Crazy numbers.
Right?
Crazy. It might have been like 80
So Joey,
billion.
I mean, it's eating into their margins. So can you blame them for increasing the price?
No, not at all. Not at the end of the day. But that's what I'm getting at. It's like, okay, you need to essentially lock this in because someone else is just going to go out and pay that premium.
Okay, the NHL, the smallest of the leagues. Not even American. What was it? $7 billion for 10 years. And that's a Canadian company buying the Canadian rights, not even the American rights. Sorry, Joseph. Go ahead.
No, yeah, but just to add what I was saying, if you don't pay that premium, someone else is going to come.
Someone else is going to do it.
And come out and buy it. So
and let's talk. Let's be more honest about it.
Sports hungry.
Let's just even be more honest about it. How long can Fox and these traditional legacy media companies even be able to afford the likes of Meta, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon? If they choose to throw their hat in the ring, there's nobody that has the same amount of money as them, bro. They're going to price everybody out of it.
Amazon's already positioned itself relatively well. And the same with the likes of Apple. Like, have we even heard Apple TV striking any sports deals?
MLS.
MLS? Yeah. Oh, yeah, wow, MLS.
Yeah,
okay, so what it is. So, like, what if Apple decides that they already have the platform base already set up. So what if they're like, hey, you know what? We're going to get into more sports streaming. We want to get, you know what? Never mind Paramount. We want to buy some UFC rights. We want to grab more NBA rights, more NFL games. We want to have the Christmas game. We want to have the Thanksgiving game. These guys stand no chance, essentially.
I have to agree with that. I think that these guys are really... media is in trouble?
Honestly, yeah, I don't have an opinion much on this side of it. again, something I feel like I need to understand a little bit more. But what I will find very interesting is the role that the FCC played in all of this. Because if you guys do not realize, the FCC is now run by an individual named Brendan Carr. Now, he has been called, a bit of a, I'll put it this way, very active choice. He has some wild posts on X that we're not going to get into, except for these ones, which are related to the story. So he actually basically pleaded with Google not to, to make sure that these Fox channels remained on YouTube TV so people could watch college football. Then once this got settled last night, he said, "Oh, enjoy the games this weekend." He's been credited with saving college football, and I'm not joking. So yeah, I think the fact that the FCC or the government got involved in this is another example of that thing I talked about with Cracker Barrel, where the government is getting more and more involved in the ongoings of public companies. And again, the fact that this is happening on social media rather than in the courtroom is another, I think, interesting angle to this. As always, I will take the slightly contrarian approach. I am not a sports watcher. Go Sports. Shout out to Obi, with the exception of CFL. So yeah, in terms of like the actual sports element, it's good that people are going to be able to watch stuff. I'll say that. Again, Go Sports. But yeah, I think it will be really interesting to continue to see how the government is, A, involving itself with public companies, and B, doing so via social media.
Thank you, Derek.
$76 billion over 11 years, the NBA. NBA.
Wow, with who? Who bought that?
We got some Disney rights in there.
Disney,
yeah, so
NBC,
I think Universal,
Amazon
Prime. So
that's ridiculous. I mean, that's what I mean.
That's why these guys are making $60 million a year. It's crazy.
Tina Man agrees.
It's like, it's ridiculous money.
Redonkulous. All right, let's go on to this story. Intel getting their hands on some money. $5.7 billion worth of investment amid foundry uncertainty. So the government, Intel CFO David Zinsser confirmed the receipt of $5.7 billion investment from the U.S. government. Part of the White House's plan to take a 10% equity stake in Intel. So he's got his money. He's got his hands on the money. Funds are aimed at stabilizing Intel's finances and supporting, obviously, U.S. semiconductor leadership. We'll have to see how that goes. The White House said the deal is still being ironed out, quotes, but the Department of Commerce with details is under negotiation, okay? The foundry business strategy here, we know, started under former CEO Pat Gelsinger, sort of canceled, but not really under Lip-Bhutan. Let's talk about it. Zinsser suggested Intel may seek outside investments for its foundry division, which manufactures chips for third parties, so they don't design. In that case, the foundry unit's been a source of concern to investors with skepticism about its competitiveness, like rivals TSMC. Additional external funding is seen as Intel's second opportunity to raise capital to support that foundry growth. We'll talk more about that in a second, Joseph.
New traders, listen up. First month free. That's right, we're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite, analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything infinite. Data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with back testing, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description.
Okay, so I have some concerns. So Intel has got two pieces of technology right now that it's really trying to sell to whoever the hell wants to buy it. It's the 14A node process and the 18A node process. The 18A is similar to the Taiwan Semi 3 nanometer, and the 14A is similar to the most advanced 2 nanometer. But this is not new. NVIDIA checked it out. AMD checked it out. Broadcom, a host of different semiconductor companies approached Intel and learned more about these new nodes. None of the companies liked it. None of the companies wanted to buy any discernible capacity from Intel for those two nodes. Instead, they chose to go with Taiwan Semi, despite the fact that they knew, possibly the administration may not like that. Now, why is that, Joseph? And does that current state of affairs continue? What do I mean? If Donald's going to throw several $1 billion into this company, you got to assume Donald's going to want some returns. He doesn't want to look like a bad investment. So how do you get the returns, Joseph, if no one's buying from the company? My opinion, you're going to exercise soft or hard power, depending on how he does it, against NVIDIA, against AMD, and you're going to twist their hand and their arm to buy from Intel. Do you think that that's a feasible thing? And if he does it is a strategy that works?
No, I don't think that's a great idea, to be honest with you,
Okay.
right? Because now you're holding somewhat of a bias. But as for this money that they're receiving, Intel's going to receive, don't they have to reach certain milestones that they've already said that they're not going to?
They get the money anyway,
they
Joseph.
But then, so what's the whole objective of having the milestones?
Well, that
they
was under
know,
the previous
right?
administration.
Okay, was it? So yeah, they said, well, this is what you need. Okay, so at the end of the day, so it's a 10% stake. They're giving them $10 billion, which works out to about $11 billion. So there's a 10% return already on that investment. But if you, again, I don't know what they're going to do. If you can't gain your own customer base, you're going to have favoritism from the government now. So again, you're going to be pushing NVIDIA and everyone to grab their chips.
Yep.
But is that fair? Is that a level playing field?
I don't think he cares. Just my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think he cares. I think he loses sleep, if he sleeps at all, over the fact that Taiwan Semi is like 90 miles off the majority of Taiwan Semi's capacity is 90 miles off the coast of China.
Well, that's why our guy Howard Lutnick was like, hey, we're going to take away these grants, but you need to invest more in America at the end of the day. So I think that could be something positive as well, too, to look from, because TSMC substantially increased their investment in America, and then also as like some Texas Instruments as well, too, from like 32 billion to 68 billion. So I think there's some positivity out of that. But again, if you can't gain customers, I don't think you can force other people's hands to buy from them.
I agree 100% on that. Adara, what's your take on this?
There's a massive red flag with this deal, and it has to do with the fact that apparently if Intel, I guess in the first 5 years of this deal, at any point has less than 51% of its foundry business, the U.S. is allowed to take an additional 5% stake. Now, why is this significant? Because we know that Lip-Bu Tan was not necessarily a fan of Pat Gelsinger's strategy. In fact, we know that for a fact because he left the board about a year ago. I think it was August. I just looked this up. August 26, 2024. So Lip-Bu Tan left the board while Gelsinger was CEO. And as you can see, Gelsinger did not do wonders for the stock because he was concerned about the foundry angle, which we know Gelsinger loved. So with that in mind, I'm shocked that Lip-Bu Tan would make this deal. Because this deal basically means they have to hold on to the foundry business, which we know they've been trying to sell or divest, which we know has not been historically great for the company. So yeah, honestly, I'm not going to lie, this angle of the deal shocks me. I also think it's interesting that now, about a week or so after it's announced, we get more details. Like, for example, Zinsser, who was briefly actually the co-CEO or co-interim CEO of Intel with MJ Holthaus, Zinsser is saying, oh yeah, like for a while there, we weren't thinking we were going to make our CHIPS Act obligations. I'm like, okay, like that's, a little worrisome. And then we have Caroline Levitt saying the T's are being crossed and the I's are being dotted. So yeah, I think like this deal is, it's a little concerning. I would like to see more things ironed out, that's for sure. As we know, they're still ironing out the details. So yeah, I think I'm actually a little bit surprised it got announced as early as it did, I guess would be my take on that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all that this deal got through. I think Donald doesn't care whatsoever about the short-term profitability of Intel. He's looking more from like the longer-term perspective about securing domestic chip manufacturing locally. And if that means, going down a road that maybe Lip-Bu doesn't want to go down. We know Lip-Bu's not a fan of the foundry business. He's criticized Patty G wherever he can get, and he's canceled multiple projects. Germany, Poland fabs are canceled. The Ohio fab is under pause and probably won't get completed until 2030. I think all of that was Lip-Bu's strategy going in. And then they stacked the deck against Lip-Bu. How? By making the connections with China. Come here, Lip-Bu. I need to see you. Calls him to the White House. What does Lip-Bu do the few days after that? Oh, my God.
Good point.
We're selling 10%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel Donald's, he's exercising hard and soft power, and I don't think Lip-Bu likes that, but I don't think Lip-Bu has a say in the decision. That's just my 2 cents, Adira.
Good point.
And with what? Okay, so remember the rumor of, was it Qualcomm that was going to possibly acquire? But they said,
Qualcomm and somebody else.
But they're like, hey, we don't even want the fabs. Like, if we can strike a deal, but we don't want the fabs at the end of the day. So yeah, I don't know. I think this name is in big time trouble. I don't know what. The more I read about it, I don't know if the government can save it. So I don't know where I stand personally with Intel.
Yeah, this is a bit of a wild card. It's a wild card. I agree with Adira, man. I mean, I don't think Lip-Bu wants anything to do with the fabs.
And wants nothing to do with the fabs.
No. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see if they can get some dang customers. Let's go on here. You might like this story, Joey. Microsoft testing in-house AI model to reduce OpenAI reliance. Tell me more, Satya. Microsoft, as I mentioned, has begun publicly testing one of its in-house AI models called the MAI-1 Preview, aimed at enhancing Copilot features. Somebody actually uses that?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Brother, don't play that, because we know on the previous, obviously I know, but on the previous report, the Copilot growth was absolutely phenomenal, right? At the end of the day.
That's fair. I'm pulling your leg.
Obviously, I know you're full of my leg.
Testing is happening on the on LM Arena, where users can actually evaluate AI models. I didn't even know this thing existed. The MA1 preview will roll out in text use cases for Copilot, so your boy Joey Options will get to use it over the coming weeks with feedback, helping refine the model. The strategies here are to remain with OpenAI, at least for the time being. So Microsoft, as you know, has poured $13+ billion into OpenAI, which according to their latest funding round is now valued at more than $500 billion. Shout out to OpenAI and Altman and company. OpenAI relies heavily on Microsoft's cloud infrastructure to run its models, but we know that OpenAI has looked to diversify, recently picking up some capacity from Google Cloud. Microsoft products like Bing, Windows 11, and Copilot currently integrate into OpenAI's models, but there is tension, plenty of tension. Let's just call a spade a freaking spade right now between the two companies. And you got Elon looking, divide and conquer between these two guys, saying that OpenAI is going to eat Microsoft alive. Microsoft officially listed OpenAI as a competitor in its annual report last year. OpenAI has begun diversifying and partnering with CoreWeave, as I mentioned, Google, Oracle, all to grow to handle their growing cloud demand. OpenAI's ChatGPT now, Joey, 700 million weekly active users, underscoring the competitive overlap. Who does this company think it is? Meta?
Honestly, I heard the most ridiculous stat ever yesterday. So it took OpenAI 8 years less to get 1 billion searches a day than what it took Google.
That's crazy.
Is insane.
Because it's that much better than search, right? Let's just be honest. LLMs are better than search. 8 years
less, and it was the fastest growing app of all time. But let's not get this twisted. All of these names are intertwined. Everybody is somewhat connected to the other. We got OpenAI, as you just mentioned, is using Azure's cloud. They're like, okay, never mind. We don't want to use as much Azure as we possibly have to. We're going to start striking deals with Google. Well, guess what? Google has Gemini. They're using cloud as well, too. So a lot of it is intertwined. And then you have Elon coming tweeting for just because I'm not carrying any weight behind that, oh yeah, OpenAI is going to eat Microsoft's lunch. You're just trying to sue the man, and now you're going to say he's going to eat their lunch. So which side are you on? It's either it's Elon versus
whatever's
somebody.
Good for him.
But one day it's like literally flip a coin, and he's going to see who's like, okay, you have a face of every other hyperscaler. I'm going to flip a coin, and I'm going to try to start some form of a proxy war with those individuals.
You got to love it. Adara, what's your take on this whole thing? Back and on again, off again beef between Altman and Satya?
He is the drama.
Such a drama llama. Like, this man loves the drama, and I don't even, I'm not even meaning that in an insult.
Get him, Elon.
It's just factual. He likes being, he told Dan to shut up, even though Dan Ives is a noted Tesla bull, so kind of a weird look there. But yeah, I mean, with regards to this Microsoft and OpenAI relationship, I have a little bit of as always, there's an infographic for that. This is an older infographic here, XATT Research, just kind of to show what happened here between Microsoft and OpenAI over the years. They first announced plans to invest in OpenAI back in Q3 2019. And then, of course, now 5 years later, they've gotten a little bit more involved. But yeah, I mean, it's not always been a great look for Microsoft, right? The CFO at one point said that OpenAI's investment was going to cut into their profits, which is never a good sign. The investment is massive. I think I will say it certainly helped Microsoft. I'm not going to lie about that. Of course, it's been good for Microsoft, but I think it's also cost Microsoft. And now I think how they resolve this AGI issue with regards to, who gets it first, who gets claims, as they renegotiate this deal, I think this is going to become very consequential very soon. Now, I think also that MAI name is like, come on, guys, you couldn't think of a more fun name.
Honestly, I don't think it's going to be that. That's probably just like the code name
I hope
internally.
it's just like the code name, like the Juniper or whatever they code.
Well, I think they're going to actually make it probably part of Copilot. I'm assuming they're going to want that Copilot brand they've been building a lot of goodwill on. Who knows what Satya's got planned there. But yeah, I do always wonder exactly how that relationship's going to develop, especially now weaseling some cloud capacity from Microsoft. Let's just be honest, they're competitors. I don't think Satya's going to like that, and I think there's going to be beef. And you and I have also talked about that AGI angle and the lack of incentive for your boy Altman to declare AGI as a result of what comes with that, with Satya getting a lot more power and what OpenAI does as a result. So any take on that and the intertwining of this?
I mean, I just mentioned the AGI thing, I think, pretty briefly.
Oh, sorry, I didn't.
So yeah, I do think it's going to be something that is consequential, and I think it's tough because I think Altman, to an extent, does have a reason to claim because Zuckerberg wants it too. So does he claim it just because he wants to be first?
But like, you know, Zuck says we've reached AGI, and then Altman's, what's it called? LLM could outperform Zuck's, and Altman didn't declare it, right?
Yeah.
Like, what would, you know what I mean?
That's
like,
the thing, right?
It's just
So
a statement.
But wasn't
it's
there
kind of hard, and I think it's going to be always like a little bit, you know, subjective, I think, until we get like come to a clearer consensus. Yeah, I mean, I think my take is it's going to be of note, but I think it's something for now. I think we have other fish to fry, not something worth worrying about right this second.
Fair. What were you going to say?
What were the parameters? Because if Altman declared AGI, right?
Okay, so there were tests.
No, but what I was saying here, so if Altman declared AGI, didn't something benefit Microsoft from that aspect? Didn't they grab more share?
And Altman doesn't want it. That's what I'm saying to Adara. He's not incentivized to declare AGI because of what precipitates in Microsoft's control. And in addition to that, it's a moving goalpost, Joey. I mean, like, there were a bunch of different tests. I forget the name of the test that they called it now. That if it reached over a certain score on this test, then AGI would be declared. It's been scoring better on that for a hot minute, but nobody's declaring AGI. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how this all works out.
We're still in its infancy. We're 3 years into this.
We're barely. This is like I don't know what year the internet actually took shape on a mass scale. I'm saying 94, 95. That's my memory anyway. That's like being in 97 or 98. That's a joke. Okay?
It's a joke.
Yeah. So let's go on to the next one over here. Caterpillar reported. This is a full disclosure. I'm involved in this name. Caterpillar reported earnings yesterday, and where are they at right now? Piece of crap. 1 second. Let me just swear at it over here. We're down 4.25%, but we're not that far off all-time highs on CAT. All-time highs, by the way, in the 440s, we're down to 416. So Caterpillar raised its estimate of tariff costs for 2025 to $1.5 to $1.8 billion, up from the prior 1.3 to 1.5. So a bit of a revenue, not a revenue, an earnings per share headwind there. The Q3 tariff hit is expected to be about $500 to $600 million, reflecting the new levy since the August earnings report. So they've adjusted that look. The company did warn operating profit margins will now be closer to the bottom of its target range that it previously guided. As a result, we've seen what the sell-off looks like here, but I'm still bullish on the company. Sales guidance remains unchanged, though, because the revenue is going to be revenue. It's about profitability, right? Unchanged at nearly $65 billion total for all of 2025, slightly higher than 24. At $65 billion in sales, margins are projected to be about 16 to 20%, but Wall Street currently models about 17% there. So, you could say the midpoint a little bit higher than the expectations. Tariffs also could have an approximately 1 percentage point off margins, or about $500 million off that operating profit. The reaction of the stock, I mentioned, down 4.25. Despite the dip, CAT still up about, I want to say, give this accurately, up 15.8% year to date. At the time of the writing of this article, it was 20%. And then you have Baird cut their 2025 EPS forecast by 105 down to 1740 and trimmed the price target down to 495, but they kept the buy rating. Citi as well noted the tariff impact was expected, and competitors may face worse pressure, giving what they call CAT an advantage in North America, Joey. 54% of analysts rate, though, CAT as a buy, and near the S&P 500 average of about 55% or so.
Yeah, I'm going to go along those lines, too, because I think that CapEx is going to funnel somewhere aside from cloud. How do you build these data centers, Shreve?
You got to build, baby.
You got to use heavy machinery at the end of the day. And what is one of the most popular companies that are across the globe is Caterpillar. So if you're building in Saudi Arabia,
Headline, Musk XAI sues engineer for allegedly taking secrets to OpenAI. We're going to see a lot more of this.
Yeah.
We're going to see a lot more
He's going to continue to
both
do
ways,
this.
bro. It's not just Zuck.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, I think now it's just a pissing contest at the end of the day. But what I'm getting at, Sharif, is that, okay, we get the rate cut.
Yep.
What is that going to do for home builders, right? They're going to start trying to build more homes, obviously the lending rate being significantly cheaper, but then with the data centers as well, too, as I just mentioned, across the globe. You're going to go to Saudi Arabia, I know they use a lot of cap there. North America, you're having all these major hyperscalers investing in a bleep ton of money into America. You got to start somewhere, and you start from the ground up, and I think Caterpillar is the way to go on that one.
All right, Adara. Kat, earnings, thoughts?
I mean, yeah, I don't have too many thoughts on this. The volume on this is usually a bit lighter, and even as a spready taker, I do find it a little, sorry, I'm just awkwardly like moving things around so I can scroll up here because I'm holding the button. Yeah, so Caterpillar, this is like a spready taker that doesn't even get much volume on earnings day. So intraday, it's a bit harder. I think the tariff cost estimate increase is a little bit of a concern, but we already kind of knew there would be some tariff-related headwinds anyway, right? I guess it's just the extent of them are a bit of a concern. But the fact their sales guidance remains unchanged, that actually, in my opinion, might even be the bigger issue, right? Because if you're going to get higher tariff impacts, it would be nice if you could also be like, oh, but we have higher sales too. The fact that they don't, that might be the bigger issue here. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Right now, it actually looks like it's maybe doing a bit of a double bottom. We might push higher. I don't know. Intraday, I think it's a nothing burger, but we'll see.
Okay. Thank you, Derek.
Double top daily, too.
Double top on the daily?
Yeah.
Oh,
see
no.
there,
Time to sell?
No, I don't think so. I think, obviously. But if you crack neckline, you might see some more downside. Some good stuff here. Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
I just want to see from this April lows.
Where are we at?
Well, there we go. Thank you. Embarrassing. 54%.
Not bad.
Right? Yeah, no, that's fantastic.
Not bad.
Outpacing the market, right?
What was that level there?
This one?
Price level, yeah.
This is the April lows?
Yeah, the price,
one?
the price.
Oh, the price?
270?
270.
Okay.
Yeah, 270 up to 416 where we're currently trading at.
Why are you guys dressed like that today? Canadian holiday? I was just a little cold outside, brother. That's why I didn't wear a t-shirt. And your boy Joey Shivers is always cold, so that's just...
You got to wear the linen. What do you mean dressed like that, though? What is it?
I don't know. I didn't understand
what do you mean
what
by that, man.
Maybe because of the long sleeves, I'm assuming.
What do you mean by that?
Get him, Joe. All right, last but not least over here, let's get to the Fed Cook, or former Fed Governor Lisa Cook, facing new criminal referral amid Trump's firing push. Adair is going to give us a deep dive on this. Let's go. Let's start with the headline here. So FA Director Bill Pult announced a second criminal referral to the Department of Justice against Fed Governor Lisa Cook, alleging misrepresentations on a property and mortgage filing. The claims focus this time on a Cambridge condo Cook financed back in 2021 as a second home, later listed as an investment rental property in the federal ethics disclosure. Pult says Cook may have benefited from the lower mortgage rates and down payments by misclassifying the property status. Underline that, may have benefited. We'll have to see if she actually did benefit. These are allegations. The allegations include multiple properties, as you recall. They extend to 3 homes Cook owns, one in Cambridge, one in Ann Arbor, and the other one in Atlanta. Department of Justice is already probing her Atlanta property, where Cook allegedly misrepresented the rental status of the property. Pult also claims Cook misclassified her Ann Arbor residence in 2025 as a personal home, though it was allegedly rented out at the time. Again, underline that word allegedly. We need more proof. The legal battle, though, over Trump's authority to actually fire Cook. Earlier Thursday, Cook sued Trump, seeking to block his unprecedented attempt to fire her from the Fed board. Trump previously had cited Pult's first criminal referral in his firing notice. The case tests, really, whether the U.S. president can legally remove Fed governor, quote, for cause, a move without modern precedent. Underline that word, modern. The political context here is also important. Pult, which is obviously appointed by Donald Trump, has become more an aggressive critic of the Fed. Powell and Cook. Trump has long pressured the Fed, as we know, vis-a-vis his pressure tactics on Chair Jerome Powell to cut rates, and even considered firing Jerome Powell before moving against Cook. Cook, the first black woman Fed governor is facing increased scrutiny and public political attacks. Joseph,
Yeah.
what do you make of this latest addition in this saga?
Yeah, it's very interesting stuff. I like how you mentioned, what was it, the New Hampshire residents in 2025?
So there's Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
And then there's, there's Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
Excuse me, over here. Where is it at, Joey? Where is it at? Where is it? Ann Arbor residents.
Yeah.
That's the one, but it's 3.
That was the one in
where the hell is it,
2025,
dude?
right? There's 3 of them. Okay, so
Yeah,
anyways,
Ann Arbor, Cambridge, and Atlanta.
Okay,
Sorry, yeah.
so but what I'm hearing as well is that the 2 prior to the Ann Arbor, she wasn't on the board. So
She wasn't on the board.
when she was filing whatever paperwork for that. And then also they're saying, could it be a DocuSign error in this? I don't personally know.
That's what she's saying, right? Clerical error?
I mean,
Yeah.
right? So at the end of the day, I don't know, but 2 of these claims, and it's only a probe. She hasn't been charged with anything just yet.
Not yet.
So again, two of the properties she owned before she was even on the Fed.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that's going to implement to.
Well, I don't think it changes the criminality of it,
aspect.
but, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
maybe perhaps while she's in office it makes a difference. We'll have to see. Adara, you did a deep dive. Let's hear it.
Did I ever? So we're going to talk about this here, guys.
I can't hear you. Yeah.
What we're doing here. Sorry, I'm going to have to scroll. Well, this is going to be awkward.
No
so I'm
problem.
gonna have to
It's
scroll
okay.
while I go. So basically, what happens is I want to talk about a lot of this. I'm going to be clear, guys. I'm going to be as neutral about this as I can. People, I'm going to have arguments for both sides of the aisle here.
Go.
So I'm just going to chat. I apologize in advance. Let's get into it, though. So I want to start here with these allegations about Gia Cobb, who was the judge in the Lisa Cook case, and Lisa Cook saying that they're in the same sorority. I looked into this. They were I guess they were both members here of the same sorority, Delta Sigma Theta. However, in completely different states and different schools. So I want to clarify that. There's no evidence that they're got a secret sorority connection, but I do want to say as well, though, the argument for that to be made does exist because we already had the international president of the sorority speaking out in favor of Lisa Cook. So you can make the sorority argument to an extent, but the sorority is massive. Serena Williams was a part of it too. So it's huge. I just want to address that right away because I've seen a lot of people say, they went to school together. No, they never did. Let's clarify that right off the bat. Now let's get into the existing here. I guess we'll call this bias against Cook because it exists a lot more than I thought it did. So for one, J.D. Vance and Peter Navarro, going back to 2022, were vocally against her
Adara,
appointment.
sorry, I just have to pause you.
Yeah.
Great
Please
information.
do.
I just have to tell everybody Google's breaking out on this headline. Alphabet's Google set to face modest, underline that modest, antitrust fine over ad tech practices. That came in at 159. So that's possibly why Google is breaking out right now. Sorry to interrupt you, Adara. I know you're trying to read, so it's kind of hard.
There it is, right there. There's the volatility and the volume spike right there. So continue, Adara.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry about that, guys. So I'll probably do a whole X post about this because I just have there's a lot here.
No,
But
we want to hear it,
the fact
man.
that 2 prominent members of Trump's administration spoke out about Lisa Cook 3 years prior to this happening is, I think, pretty interesting. And it's also worth noting here too. I went back and looked at some of the voting for the other Biden-era appointees for the Fed. Jefferson got voted in by the Senate Banking Committee 24-0, so he was unanimously voted in. Fed's Barr had a very reasonable vote. Lisa Cook's vote was entirely party line. So there was already, I guess, a lot of issues here that the Republican Party had with her. They actually posted a tweet thread arguing against her appointment. That's the Republican side of the Senate Banking Committee. So lots of interesting stuff here. I guess their issue was that she had posted some tweets they deemed political. They were all retweets, but make of that what you will. The point I'm trying to make is there has been a little bit of a history here with regards to how certain people on certain sides of the aisle feel about Lisa Cook. And I think that context and color is really important when you consider the current allegations and the context. Because as you said, they moved away from Powell here. I was wondering why didn't they move to Jefferson or Barr? Well, I think that's because they already view it there as an existing case for Fed's Cook. And with that, I will step off of my very controversial hot seat.
No, I think that was a great take. Thank you for giving us that information. I didn't know anything about the sorority. That's another, another piece to add into the puzzle. Thank you, Adara, for that. And Joseph,
What
see
time
that
is
time,
it?
baby?
What time is it?
What time is it?
Oh, wow.
It's almost
What the
2:02.
helly?
What the helly? No, it's all good. This guy.
What's going on with
Neil's
this?
like, it's 1:58. We gotta go. We got another couple.
We can't have a
No,
piece
play.
like this giving us the wrong time here.
Wow.
Can we? That's insane, my
You
brother.
just got that watch too.
Brother.
You might have to give them a call.
Yeah, I
Joey.
got to call these guys and see.
All
what they're
right,
up
guys.
to.
I hope everybody has a fantastic long weekend, guys. Stay safe and enjoy time with family, friends, or whatever you guys are doing. Joey Options, leave him with a thought, baby.
Sorry. No, it's the long weekend, guys. Enjoy it. If you're in Southern Ontario, have fun at the exhibition. Don't eat too much of the garbage food. Go check out the casino. I've spent some times at some of those tables. Been a good time. Everyone enjoy the long weekend. Happy Labor Day to Canada and the States.
Yo,
Yeah,
Joe just made me
Monday,
think, what is the special dish at the X this year? There's always something, if